Get out and don't come back, Mom screamed, throwing my clothes on the lawn. 7 years later, security called. Ma'am, your parents are at the gate of your estate. I smiled and said, let them wait. I set down my coffee and stared at the security monitor showing 2 figures huddled under an umbrella at the gates of my Malibu estate. The same parents who'd thrown me out like garbage on my 18th birthday. The same ones who'd called me worthless, a burden, a waste of space. Ma'am? Security's voice crackled through the intercom. They say it's urgent. Family emergency. Family. The word tasted bitter even after all these years. I'm Luna Thorne, though they knew me as Lucy Ann Thompson, the daughter they'd erased from their lives. At 25, I owned a tech startup valued at $200 million, lived in a house that cost more than my parents would see in 10 lifetimes, and had built everything from nothing, from less than nothing, actually, from active sabotage. Tell them to wait, I repeated. I'm in a meeting. I wasn't, but they could stand in the rain for a while. God knows I'd stood in worse. 7 years ago, I'd woken up on my 18th birthday to my mother ripping the covers off my bed. Get up, she'd snarled. You're 18 now, legal adult, time to go. I'd blinked, confused. Go where? I have school. Not anymore. We've withdrawn you. Your father and I discussed it. We're done raising you. But I graduate in 2 months. Should have thought about that before you decided to be such a disappointment. My crime? I'd refused to drop out at 16 to work at my uncle's factory. I'd wanted to finish high school, maybe even college. I had dreams of working in tech, of building something meaningful. To my parents, Karen and Dale Thompson, that made me too good for my raising and ungrateful. My younger brother Kyle watched from the doorway, smirking. At 16, he'd already dropped out to work construction with Dad, the golden child who understood his place. Mom, please, I'd begged as she threw my clothes onto the front lawn. Where am I supposed to go? Not my problem anymore. Maybe those fancy dreams of yours will keep you warm. The neighbors had watched, some with pity, others with judgment. In our small Georgia town, parents' word was law. If the Thompsons were kicking out their daughter, she must have done something to deserve it. My father had stood on the porch, arms crossed. Don't come back begging when you fail. You made your choice. What choice? I'd screamed. Wanting an education? Thinking you're better than us. He'd corrected. Well, let's see how far that attitude gets you in the real world. They'd gone inside and locked the door. Just like that. I was homeless with nothing but the clothes they'd thrown out and $73 I'd saved from tutoring kids in math. I'd walked to the library, the only place I could think of, and sat there until closing, trying not to cry. The librarian, Mrs. Chen, had noticed. Lucy, shouldn't you be home? I don't have one anymore. She'd listened to my story, then done something that changed my life. She'd given me a laptop. It's old, she'd said, but it works. And Lucy, don't let them win. You're brilliant. I've watched you help those kids, seen how quickly you understand concepts. That's a gift. I'd slept in the park that night, laptop clutched to my chest. The next day, I'd used the library's Wi-Fi to search for resources, homeless shelters, youth programs, anything. That's when I'd found Future Path, a program for homeless youth that provided temporary housing and help finishing school. The catch? It was in Los Angeles. I'd used my $73 for a Greyhound ticket and never looked back. The program gave me a bed in a shared room and access to online classes. I finished high school in 6 weeks, then started taking free coding courses. Turns out, I was good at it, really good. By 19, I was freelancing web design. By 20, I'd saved enough to rent a studio apartment. By 21, I'd built an app that helped homeless youth find resources, shelters, food banks, job training. It went viral after a tech blogger discovered it. That's when the investors came calling. This is brilliant, one had said. Personal experience? You could say that. They'd invested $2 million. I'd used it to expand the app, hire developers, create partnerships. By 23, we'd helped connect 100,000 homeless youth with resources. By 24, Google offered to buy us for $200 million. I'd said no, we were just getting started. Now, at 25, Path Forward was the leading platform for youth in crisis. We'd expanded internationally, partnered with governments, saved lives, and I'd done it all without my family's support or approval. Ma'am? Security interrupted my thoughts. They're still waiting. The woman is crying, crying. My mother had never cried for me, not when I'd begged to stay, not when I'd called from LA, hungry and scared, swallowing my pride to ask for help, only to be told I was dead to them. Send them to the guest house. I decided, I'll meet them there. I didn't want them in my home. The guest house, sterile, impersonal, was enough. I took my time getting ready: designer jeans, a simple but expensive sweater, minimal jewelry. I wasn't the desperate girl they'd thrown away. I was Luna Thorne, CEO of Path Forward, named one of Forbes 30 under 30. They needed to see the difference. The walk across my estate took 5 minutes. 5 minutes to cross grounds that sprawled over 2 acres, past the pool, the tennis court, the meditation garden. 5 minutes to prepare for faces I'd only seen in nightmares for 7 years. They were sitting on the guest house porch, soaked despite the umbrella. My mother looked older, grayer, smaller. My father had lost weight, his face gaunt. They both looked up as I approached, and I saw the moment they recognized me. "Lucy?" My mother's voice broke. "It's Luna now," I corrected. "Lucy died 7 years ago." "You look," my father trailed off, taking in my appearance, my confidence, my clear success. "Alive? Fed? Not begging on the streets like you predicted?" "We didn't know," my mother whispered. "We thought." "You thought what? That you'd throw out your teenage daughter and I'd magically be fine? Or did you hope I'd fail and come crawling back?" "We made a mistake," my father said quietly. "A mistake?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. You threw me out. You withdrew me from school. You told me I was worthless and not to come back. We were angry." "About what? That I wanted to graduate? That I had dreams beyond this small town?" My mother started crying harder. "We were wrong. We see that now." "Now?" I sat down across from them, studying these strangers who shared my DNA. "What's changed? Why are you here?" They exchanged glances. My father cleared his throat. "Kyle's sick." "Of course. There was always something." "Sick how?" "Kidney failure. From an accident at the construction site. He needs a transplant." "And you want me to get tested?" I said flatly. "You're his sister." I was his sister. Until you decided I wasn't part of the family anymore. "Please," my mother begged. "He's dying." "Whatever happened between us?" "Whatever happened?" I stood up. "You mean when you threw me out with nothing? When I called begging for help and you hung up? When I sent graduation announcements from my GED program and you returned them unopened? We didn't know you'd become this." My father gestured vaguely at me. "This? You mean successful? Happy? Alive? Rich?" He said quietly. There it was, the truth. "So if I was still homeless, still struggling, would you be here? Or is it only worth claiming me as family now that I have something you need?" "That's not fair." "Fair?" I laughed. "Was it fair when I slept in parks? When I went hungry? When I cried myself to sleep wondering what I'd done to make my own parents hate me?" "We don't hate you," my mother sobbed. "No? Then what do you call throwing out your child for wanting an education? We thought you were being uppity, thinking you were too good for us." "I never thought that. I just wanted more. I wanted to learn, to grow, to build something." "Why was that so threatening?" "Because we couldn't," my father admitted. "We couldn't give you college, couldn't understand your dreams. It was easier to call you ungrateful than admit we were limited." The honesty surprised me, but it didn't erase 7 years of abandonment. "So you threw me away." "We were wrong," he repeated. "But Lucy, Luna, you're still Kyle's sister. He needs help." "Where is Kyle?" I asked. "Why isn't he here begging himself?" Another glance between them. "He doesn't know we're here. He's ashamed of how he treated you." "He should be." I remembered Kyle's smirk as Mom threw my clothes out, his laughter when I'd pleaded with Dad, the text he'd sent from my parents' phone: "Stop calling. You're not our problem anymore." "He was just a kid," my mother defended. So was I. Silence stretched between us. The rain had stopped, but the air was heavy with more than humidity. "I'll get tested," I finally said. Their faces lit up with hope. "But not for you, and not for Kyle. For the 16-year-old boy who was poisoned by your bitterness. Maybe with a kidney from someone who made something of herself. He'll learn it's okay to dream." "Thank you." My mother reached for me. I stepped back. "I'm not doing this for free. We'll pay." "With what?" "You can't afford my gardener." "No. I want something else. I want you to volunteer." "Volunteer?" "At Path Forward shelters. I want you to serve meals to homeless youth. To see their faces. To understand what you did to me." "For how long?" "Forever. Or at least until you understand that every one of those kids was thrown away by someone who should have loved them. Every one of them is somebody's Lucy." My father's face crumbled. "We'll do it. And I want a public statement. A video admitting what you did. We'll use it in our awareness campaigns about youth homelessness." "Lucy, Luna, those are my terms. Take them or leave them." They nodded, defeated. "One more thing," I added. "After the transplant, if I'm a match, we're done. No happy family reunions. No using my success to brag to your friends. You lost the right to claim me 7 years ago." We understand, my mother whispered. I stood to leave, then turned back. You know what the worst part is? If you just supported me, just believed in me, I would have shared all of this with you. I would have bought you a house, taken care of you, made sure you never struggled. But you threw me away because I dared to want more. We know, my father said. We know we lost the best thing we ever had. No, I corrected. You threw away the best thing you ever had. I lost nothing. I gained everything. I walked back to my house, leaving them in the guest house. My assistant would handle the rest, the testing, the logistics, the paperwork. I'd done my part. That night, I sat on my balcony overlooking the ocean, thinking about the girl who'd slept in parks with a borrowed laptop. She'd been so scared, so alone, but so determined. You did it, I whispered to her. You proved them wrong. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Kyle. Luna, Mom told me you're getting tested. Thank you. I'm sorry for everything. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for every kid who's told they're worthless. Prove me wrong. Make something of your second chance. I blocked the number and went inside. 2 weeks later, the test came back. I was a match. The surgery was scheduled. The legal documents signed. My parents started their volunteer work, serving meals to kids who looked like I had lost, scared, defiant. The day before the surgery, I visited Kyle in the hospital. He looked small, sick, nothing like the cocky teenager who'd laughed at my pain. Luna, he said. I interrupted. Don't apologize. Don't thank me. Just promise me something. Anything. When you get better, do something with your life. Get your GED, go to college, build something. Don't let their limitations become yours. I will, he promised. I want to be like you. No, I said firmly. Be better. I built my life on spite and survival. Build yours on purpose and possibility. The surgery went well. I recovered in a private suite, working on my laptop, running my company. My parents tried to visit. I had security turn them away. The debt was paid. A year later, I got a letter. Kyle had enrolled in community college, studying computer science. He included a photo, him in a Path Forward volunteer shirt, serving meals at a shelter. Learning to give back, he wrote, "Thank you for the second chance." I kept the letter but didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, couldn't be rebuilt. They could only serve as reminders of how far we'd come. The security footage from that rainy day, my parents at my gate, begging, I kept that too, not as revenge, but as proof. Proof that the girl they'd called worthless had built an empire. Proof that sometimes, the best response to being thrown away is to become someone they never imagined you could be. They'd kicked me out at 18 for being worthless. 7 years later, when they begged at my gate, I gave them exactly what they'd given me, nothing but the chance to earn redemption through serving others they'd consider worthless. The difference? I became priceless by helping kids like me. They became worthless the moment they threw their daughter away. And that's the real karma, not success or revenge, but the knowledge that every youth I helped find shelter is a repudiation of what they did to me. Every success story from Path Forward is proof that throwing away children doesn't break them. It just teaches them to build homes where everyone belongs.
I always thought I'd feel beautiful on my wedding day. Instead, I feel like I'm burning alive in $3,000 worth of white satin and lace. You okay? Emma squeezes my hand as we stand just outside the reception hall doors. The string quartet inside has just finished tuning up. Just need a minute. I force a smile that doesn't reach my eyes. My makeup artist spent 90 minutes making me look effortlessly radiant, but my reflection in the mirrored wall shows a woman I barely recognize. Emma adjusts my veil, her eyes searching mine. Noelle, talk to me. Is this just normal wedding jitters or... I'm fine. The lie comes easily. I've been telling it to myself for weeks. The doors swing open and 100 faces turn toward me. Alfred stands at the front of the room, tall and impossibly handsome in his tuxedo. His smile is brilliant, practiced, the same one he uses to charm juries. My stomach twists. I scan the crowd as I walk in, nodding at colleagues, distant relatives, and Alfred's law partners. My mother sits rigidly in the front row, her approval as conditional as always. Bryant, my mentor, gives me a subtle thumbs up from his table. And then there's Violet, my sister, standing by the champagne fountain, looking everywhere but at me. The quartet begins playing as I make my entrance. Alfred extends his hand as I approach. His fingers are warm when they close around mine, but I feel nothing. Just hours ago, I found a text on his phone while he was in the shower. Not the first suspicious message I'd glimpsed, but the most damning. "You look stunning," he whispers. And for a second, I almost believe he means it. The efficient begins, and I go through the motions. My voice sounds distant to my own ears as I repeat words about honor and cherishing. Alfred's vows are eloquent, of course. He's always been good with words, too good. If anyone can show just cause why this couple cannot lawfully be joined together in matrimony, let them speak now or forever hold their peace. The traditional pause, a few awkward chuckles from the crowd, and then, "I have something to say." The voice cuts through the room like a blade. Conversations stop. Glasses freeze midway to lips. I don't need to turn to know it's Violet. "I'm sorry, Noelle." My sister's voice wavers. "I can't let you do this." The room tilts slightly. Alfred's hand tightens around mine, his fingernails digging into my palm. "Violet, this isn't the time," my mother hisses, half rising from her seat. But Violet continues, each word striking like a physical blow. "Alfred and I have been sleeping together for the past 8 months. The collective gasp seems to suck all the oxygen from the room. I turn slowly, feeling as though I'm moving underwater. Violet stands there in her maid of honor dress, the one I spent weeks helping her choose, her face flushed, eyes glassy with tears that look almost genuine. "It started as just one night," she continues, her voice growing stronger. "But it became more. I'm in love with him, Noelle, and he loves me too." I look back at Alfred, whose face has drained of color, not from shock, from being caught. The calculation is already happening behind his eyes. I can see it, having witnessed it in the courtroom. He's measuring responses, weighing options. "Noelle," he starts, his tone placating, the same tone he uses with difficult clients. "This isn't, she's confused." 8 months, I repeat, my voice surprisingly steady. "That would be right after our engagement party, wouldn't it?" Alfred blinks, thrown by my calmness. "She's making this up. You know how Violet gets, always wanting attention." "The text I saw this morning," I continue, "the one that said, 'After today, we won't have to hide anymore.' That wasn't from a client, was it?" The room is so quiet I can hear the ice melting in abandoned drinks. My mother's face is a mask of horror. Emma has moved closer, ready to catch me if I fall. But I won't fall, not here. "Did you think I wouldn't find out?" I ask, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Or did you just not care?" Alfred reaches for my arm. "Let's discuss this privately." I step back, out of his reach. "There's nothing to discuss." I turn to face our guests, these people who came to celebrate our love. Some look horrified, others embarrassed. A few, Alfred's friends, almost amused. I remove my engagement ring, the 3-carat diamond catching the light one last time. "Thank you all for coming," I say, my voice clear and controlled. "Unfortunately, there won't be a wedding today." I place the ring in Alfred's palm, closing his fingers around it. His expression shifts from damage control to genuine alarm. He hadn't expected this version of me. "Noelle, don't." I cut him off with a single look. Then I turn to Violet, who's watching with wide eyes, like she's surprised by the consequences of her own actions. "Thank you," I tell her, and confusion flickers across her face. "Thank you for the confirmation." I walk back down the aisle alone, head high, the weight of 100 stairs on my back. The heavy doors close behind me with a decisive thud, and only then do I allow myself a single shuddering breath. The dress that took 6 months to perfect now feels like a costume I can't wait to shed. The hotel room ceiling has a small water stain in the corner. I've been staring at it for hours, watching how it changes shape in the shifting darkness. 3 in the morning, and sleep feels like a distant memory. I kick off the suffocating duvet and sit up. My wedding dress is crumpled in the corner where I left it, a white ghost haunting the room. I should have burned it. My phone lights up for the 47th time tonight. Alfred again. I don't need to read the message to know what it says. They've all followed the same pattern. Denial, then anger, then desperate pleas for me to answer him so he can explain. What is there to explain about sleeping with my sister? I scroll through older messages instead, hunting for clues I missed. There are hundreds between us, daily check-ins, dinner plans, sweet nothings, lies, all of them. But something catches my eye, a text from 3 months ago. Can't make dinner tonight. Emergency client meeting. Don't wait up. I remember that night. I'd called his office when he didn't answer my texts, and his secretary said he'd left early. I'd brushed it off, trusting him completely. That same night, Violet had canceled our weekly sister lunch for the following day. A terrible migraine, she'd claimed. My fingers move before my brain catches up, dialing Emma's number despite the hour. I'm awake, she answers immediately. Are you okay? I need you to tell me something, I say, my voice hoarse. That weekend we went to the coast 3 months ago. Did Violet say anything about where she was the night before? Emma hesitates. She mentioned meeting friends for drinks. Why? Which friends? She didn't say. Noelle, what's going on? I close my eyes. I think it's been happening longer than 8 months. The silence on the other end confirms my suspicion that Emma had the same thought. I'm coming over, she says finally. No, I need to be alone tonight. I pause. But tomorrow, I need your help with something. Brian's office has always been my sanctuary. The smell of old books and coffee, the view of the city skyline, the quiet confidence of a space where I've grown from nervous intern to partner-track architect. You should take some time off, he says, leaning against his desk. His eyes are kind but concerned. No one would blame you. I'd blame me. I straighten the models on his shelf, needing to fix something, anything. Work is the only thing that makes sense right now. Bryant sighs. Noelle, I hired someone, I blurt out. A private investigator. His eyebrows shoot up. To what end? I need to know everything. My voice doesn't waver. How long it's been happening? If there were others, I need facts, not just Violet's version. And then what? Bryant asks gently. I don't have an answer. Not one I'm ready to say out loud. My phone buzzes. A text from the PI I hired this morning. Found something? Meeting in 20? The cafe is busy enough that our conversation won't be overheard. The investigator, a woman named Jess, with shrewd eyes and a no-nonsense attitude, slides a folder across the table. That was fast, I say. Some things are easy to find if you know where to look. She taps the folder. Credit card statements, hotel receipts, phone records. They weren't exactly careful. My hands shake as I open it. The first page is a credit card statement. Alfred's. Multiple charges at a hotel downtown, dating back nearly a year. The same hotel every few weeks. A year, I whisper. They've been doing this for a year. Jess nods. There's more. Your sister's social media has them in the same locations too many times to be coincidental. Different cities even. They took a weekend trip to Chicago 3 months ago. The coast trip, the migraine, the client emergency. It all clicks into place. That's not all, Jess continues, her voice softening slightly. There are text messages. I managed to recover some deleted ones from the cloud backup. I flip to the next page and immediately wish I hadn't. The messages between them are explicit, intimate, plans and promises, discussions about their future. After I was out of the picture, soon we won't have to hide. Alfred had written. Just a few more months until the wedding and the prenup is signed. Then we'll have everything we need. The prenup. The one that would have given Alfred access to my trust fund if we stayed married for at least a year. The inheritance my grandfather left specifically to me, not Violet. This wasn't just an affair. It was a con. My phone rings, Violet's name flashing on the screen. For the first time since yesterday, I answer. Noelle, thank God, she breathes. I've been so worried. Can we talk? Please, I need to explain. Where are you right now? I ask, my voice eerily calm. At Mom's, she's not happy with me. I bet she isn't. I close the folder, my decision made. Tell me something, Violet. Was it worth it? What? Was destroying me worth whatever he promised you? She starts to cry, those familiar tears that have gotten her out of trouble our entire lives. It wasn't like that. I fell in love. You fell in love with my fiancé and my money, I cut in. That's quite a coincidence. Her crying stops abruptly. What are you talking about? I know about the prenup, Violet. I know about Chicago. I know everything. The silence stretches between us. This isn't over, I say finally, not by a long shot. I hang up and look at Jess, who's watching me with something like respect. What's next? She asks. I take a deep breath. Everything. I want to know everything. 3 days after my wedding that wasn't, I sit cross-legged on my living room floor surrounded by evidence of my former life's implosion. Jess has been thorough. Hotel receipts, photos, text message logs, and location data spread around me like the world's most depressing puzzle. I pick up a photo of Alfred and Violet at a restaurant in Chicago, his hand on hers, both smiling like they'd invented happiness. The timestamp matches our coast trip perfectly. My phone buzzes with a text from Emma. You still alive in there? I haven't left my apartment since meeting with Jess. Haven't showered today either, if I'm being honest. Barely, coming up for air soon. Good, Bryant called. He's worried. I set down my phone without responding. Bryant's concern feels like one more responsibility I can't handle right now. The evidence tells a story I'm still struggling to accept. Alfred and Violet's affair began just weeks after he proposed, not after the engagement party, as she claimed at the wedding. Their Chicago trip wasn't the only one. They'd been to New York twice, once, while I was at a conference in Seattle. The prenup Alfred had insisted upon, just to protect us both, had been carefully designed to give him access to my inheritance after a year of marriage. And Violet, my little sister, the girl I'd protected from bullies, helped through college, defended to our mother countless times. She'd been planning to move in with him after I signed those papers. My doorbell rings, startling me. Through the peephole, I see Alfred, looking haggard in rumpled clothes. I know you're in there, Noelle, he calls through the door. We need to talk. My heart hammers against my ribs. I press my back against the wall, willing him to leave. I'm not going anywhere until you open this door, he continues, his lawyer voice slipping into place. The neighbors are starting to notice. That calculated manipulation, using my concern for appearances against me, ignites something molten in my chest. I swing the door open. Alfred's eyes widen at my appearance. Unwashed hair, sweatpants, dark circles under my eyes. Good. Let him see what he's done. You have 30 seconds, I say. He pushes past me into the apartment before I can stop him, then freezes when he sees the evidence spread across my floor. What is all this? His voice has lost its confidence. Your life, Alfred, or at least the parts you tried to hide. He picks up a hotel receipt, his face paling. You had me investigated? That's invasive, unethical, funny coming from the man who was sleeping with my sister while planning to steal my inheritance. Alfred's expression shifts. the mask slipping to reveal something calculating beneath. It wasn't like that. No? Then explain the prenup. Explain why you needed access to my trust fund after 1 year of marriage. That was standard protection. For whom? I stepped closer. The prenup my lawyer drafted protected both of us. The one you insisted on replacing it with protected you. Only you. He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture I once found endearing. Now I see it for what it is. A practiced move to appear vulnerable. I made a mistake with Violet, he says, voice softening. A terrible mistake. But I love you, Noelle. I've always loved you. Something breaks loose inside me, a laugh so bitter it scrapes my throat. You've never loved anyone but yourself. That's not fair. Fair? I grabbed the Chicago photo and thrust it at him. Was this fair? This was the weekend I was with Emma, grieving the anniversary of my father's death. You knew that. You knew what that weekend meant to me. His silence is damning. Get out, I whisper. Noelle, get out, I scream, my voice cracking. Before I call the police and tell them how you tried to defraud me. That gets his attention. Alfred straightens, lawyer mode fully engaged. You have no proof of intent to defraud. I gesture to the floor. I have enough to make your life very uncomfortable. Your firm doesn't like scandals, does it? Especially ones involving senior associates and inheritance schemes. His jaw tightens. This isn't over. Actually, it is. I open the door. And Alfred, tell Violet I know about the necklace too. His eyes flicker with confusion, then alarm. I don't have any information about a necklace. It was a shot in the dark. But his reaction tells me there's something there, something I need to find. After he leaves, I collapse onto the couch, adrenaline draining away. My phone rings. Bryant again? This time I answer. I'm alive, I say before he can speak. Glad to hear it. His voice is warm with relief. Listen, I need to tell you something. Alfred came by the office yesterday. I sit up straight. What? Why? He wanted to know if you'd been in contact with any of our clients, specifically the Westmore development. The Westmore development, my biggest project. The one that could make my career. He claimed that as your fiancé, he was concerned about your mental state affecting the project. Bryant continues. I showed him the door, but Noelle, he's trying to undermine you professionally. Cold clarity washes over me. This isn't just about my heart or my money anymore. Alfred is trying to destroy everything I've built. I'll be in tomorrow, I tell Bryant, already gathering the evidence into a folder. You sure you're ready? I look around my apartment at the shrine to betrayal I've been building. I can't hide forever, and I need to find out what this necklace is about. What necklace? I don't know yet, I admit, but I think it might be the key to understanding why Violet really did this. The Westmore presentation boards gleam under the conference room lights. I've spent the last 3 days rebuilding myself through work, showered, dressed in my sharpest suit, armed with coffee and determination. If Alfred wants to question my professional competence, I'll answer with excellence. They're going to love this, Bryant says, examining my revised designs. The sustainability elements are inspired. Thanks. I straighten papers that don't need straightening. Any word on who's representing the Westmores today? Bryant hesitates. Their regular counsel and Alfred. My hands freeze. What? He's claiming the Westmores specifically requested him. I tried to have him removed, but it's fine. I cut him off, though it's anything but fine. I can handle Alfred. Bryant studies me. You don't have to do this today. Yes, I do. I check my reflection in the glass wall. He's trying to rattle me. I won't give him the satisfaction. The conference room door opens, and the Westmores enter, Robert and his daughter Melissa, followed by their financial advisor. And then Alfred, looking immaculate in a suit I helped him choose last Christmas. Our eyes meet. His hold a warning, mine a promise. Noel? Robert Westmore embraces me warmly. Bryant tells me you've been working miracles with our project. Just doing my job, I smile, ignoring Alfred completely. Shall we begin? The presentation flows smoothly. I walk them through the redesigned community space, the green energy implementations, the cost-saving measures that don't sacrifice quality. I'm in my element, confident and clear. Then Alfred clears his throat. I have some concerns about the timeline. I keep my expression neutral. The timeline is aggressive but achievable. Given recent events, he continues, eyes fixed on me, I wonder if the firm can guarantee consistent project management. There it is, the attack I anticipated. If you're referring to my personal life, Alfred, I say, my voice steady, I assure you it has no bearing on my professional commitments. I'm simply concerned about emotional stability. A valid concern, I interrupt, turning to the Westmores, which is why I've implemented additional oversight protocols and brought in Tara from our sustainability team as support. You'll find the details on page 12 of your packets. Alfred blinks, caught off guard by my preparation. Melissa Westmore flips to the page. This is impressive, Noel. You've thought of everything. Not everything, Alfred mutters. Robert Westmore frowns. Is there something specific troubling you, Alfred? Because from where I sit, Noel has addressed all our concerns thoroughly. Alfred forces a smile. Just doing my due diligence. The meeting concludes with handshakes and approvals. As everyone files out, Alfred lingers. Clever move, he says once we're alone, but this isn't over. It was over the moment Violet opened her mouth at our wedding, I reply. Now it's just cleanup. His eyes narrow. Speaking of Violet, she's quite upset about your accusation. What accusation? About the necklace. She says she doesn't know what you're talking about. I maintain my poker face. Interesting that she's so upset about something she knows nothing about. Alfred steps closer. Whatever you think you know, I know enough. I gather my materials, and I'm learning more every day. His expression hardens. Be careful, Noel. You might not like what you find. The threat hangs in the air as he leaves. Only when the door closes do I allow myself a shaky breath. You bluffed? Emma laughs, pouring more wine into my glass. We're at her apartment, safely away from any memories of Alfred or Violet. That's brilliant. It was a guess, I admit, but his reaction told me everything. There's something about a necklace that matters to them both. Emma's smile fades. Do you think it could be your grandmother's emerald? The one your mom gave you for the wedding? My stomach drops. The emerald necklace, a family heirloom meant to be worn by Henderson women on their wedding days. My mother had presented it to me with rare emotion, a moment of connection between us. I never even wore it, I whisper. It was in my jewelry box for the ceremony. Emma sets down her glass. When did you last see it? I close my eyes, thinking. The rehearsal dinner. I showed it to Violet when she came to my room to borrow earrings. And after the wedding chaos? I haven't checked. My hands begin to shake. You don't think... Emma's expression is grim. Call your mother. The conversation with my mother is brief and painful. Yes, the necklace is missing. No, she hasn't seen it since giving it to me. Yes, she's furious about the wedding disaster. No, she doesn't want to discuss Violet's behavior. After hanging up, I stare at my phone. If they stole my grandmother's necklace, then this wasn't just about the trust fund. Emma finishes. It was about hurting you completely. My phone pings with a text from Jess. Found something on V's friend Daria. You'll want to see this. Attached is a photo of Daria and Violet at a cafe, huddled in conversation. The timestamp is 2 days ago, but what catches my eye is the glint of green at Violet's throat, partially hidden by her scarf. My grandmother's emerald. I need to talk to Daria, I say, showing Emma the photo. Violet's best friend? She'll never betray her. Maybe not. I finish my wine. But Daria and I were friends once too, before Violet claimed her. And unlike my sister, Daria has a conscience. I send a text to Daria. We need to talk about the necklace Violet's wearing. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Riverside Cafe. Come alone. The response is immediate. How did you know? I don't answer. Let her worry overnight about what I know and what I don't. Tomorrow, I'll start getting real answers. Riverside Cafe bustles with morning customers. But I spot Daria immediately. She's hunched over her coffee, eyes darting nervously toward the door. When she sees me, her face pales. I slide into the seat across from her, setting my phone face up on the table, recording app ready. Thank you for coming, I say, keeping my voice neutral. Daria's fingers twist around her cup. I almost didn't. But you did. That says something. She looks thinner than I remember, dark circles under her eyes. Violet's friendship has always come with a cost. I don't know what you think I can tell you, she begins. I pull out the photo and place it between us. You can start by explaining why my sister is wearing my grandmother's emerald necklace. Daria stares at the picture, then closes her eyes briefly. I told her not to wear it in public, so you knew she took it. Not initially. Daria's voice drops. She showed up at my place after your wedding, or non-wedding, wearing it under her dress. Said it was a gift from your mother. My mother would never give Violet that necklace. The certainty in my voice makes Daria flinch. It's been passed to the eldest daughter for generations. That's what I thought, but Violet was convincing. I lean forward. What else has she convinced you of, Daria? She looks away. I don't want to be in the middle of this. You already are. I keep my voice gentle but firm. How long have you known about her and Alfred? Since Christmas. She meets my eyes finally. I saw them together at the mall when they were supposedly shopping separately for your gifts. They didn't see me. 6 months. While I was planning my wedding, my friend knew my sister and fiancé were betraying me. Why didn't you tell me? Daria's eyes fill with tears. Violet said it was just physical, that it would end before the wedding. Then she said Alfred was leaving you anyway, that you were too focused on your career to make him happy. Each word is a fresh cut. I take a steadying breath. And the trust fund? The prenup? Daria looks genuinely confused. What prenup? I explain briefly about Alfred's financial scheme. Daria's expression shifts from confusion to horror. I didn't know about any of that, she whispers. Violet never mentioned money. What did she mention? Daria hesitates. She said it was finally her turn to be the favorite. The words hit me like a physical blow. Her turn? She's always felt second best. To you, the successful daughter, the one your mother respects, the one who got the family heirlooms and the trust fund from your grandfather. That's not... I stop myself. Isn't it true? Our mother has always been harder on Violet, comparing her unfavorably to me. And our grandfather did leave his money only to me, saying Violet was too irresponsible. That doesn't justify what she did, I say finally. No, Daria agrees. It doesn't. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a small velvet pouch. I took this from her yesterday. Told her I needed to borrow it for a date. My grandmother's emerald necklace spills into my palm, the green stone catching the light. My throat tightens. Why are you giving this to me? Daria looks miserable. Because I should have told you at Christmas. Because what they're doing is wrong. As I'm processing this, the cafe door opens. Violet walks in, freezing when she sees us together. Her eyes lock on the necklace in my hand. "You bitch," she hisses at Daria. "You said you needed it for a date." Daria stands, gathering her things. "I'm sorry, Violet. I can't do this anymore." She squeezes my shoulder before hurrying out, leaving me alone with my sister. Violet slides into the vacant seat, her initial shock hardening into defiance. "So now you're turning my friends against me too?" "I didn't have to turn anyone. Your actions did that." She scoffs. Always so self-righteous. Poor Noelle, the perfect victim. "Why did you take this?" I hold up the necklace. "It wasn't enough to take Alfred?" Something flickers across her face. Pain, maybe even shame, before the mask returns. "Mom should have given it to me. She only gave it to you because you're the responsible one." "So you stole it." "I borrowed it." "Like you borrowed my fiancé?" The words come out sharper than intended. Violet leans forward. "Alfred and I love each other. That part wasn't a lie. And the prenup? The plan to access my trust fund? Was that love too?" Her expression falters. "What are you talking about?" For a moment, I almost believe her confusion is genuine, but I've seen the evidence. "Stop lying, Violet. I know everything." "Clearly you don't," she snaps. "Alfred never mentioned any trust fund to me." A cold feeling spreads through my chest. "Then why?" "Because I was tired of being second place." Her voice rises, drawing glances from nearby tables. "My entire life, it's been, why can't you be more like Noelle? Do you have any idea what that's like? So you destroyed my wedding to get back at me?" I struggle to keep my voice steady. "How does that make you first place in anything?" Violet's eyes fill with tears that, for once, seem real. "It wasn't supposed to happen like that. I was drunk, emotional. Alfred said we should wait until after." She stops abruptly. "After what?" I press. "Nothing." She stands, grabbing her purse. "Keep the stupid necklace. It doesn't matter anymore." As she turns to leave, I catch her wrist. "Violet, if Alfred was using you too." "He loves me," she insists, but uncertainty clouds her eyes. "He's going to prove it." "How?" She pulls away. "You'll see. We both will." After she leaves, I sit motionless, the necklace heavy in my hand. My phone buzzes with a text from Jess. "Found something in A's email. Meeting tonight?" I reply immediately, "Yes, and bring everything you have on my mother's finances." The pieces are starting to fit together, forming a picture I never expected, one where Violet might be as much a victim as I am. "Your mother is broke." Jess slides financial statements across my kitchen table, "or she will be very soon." I stare at the documents, trying to make sense of them. Bank accounts nearly empty. Credit cards maxed out. A second mortgage on the family home I grew up in. "That's impossible," I say. "My mother is obsessively careful with money." "Was," Jess corrects. "Something changed about 18 months ago. Large withdrawals, luxury purchases, a trip to Monaco." Monaco? My mother, who considers a weekend in the Hamptons an extravagance? Could someone have stolen her identity? Jess shakes her head. "The purchases were made in person. Credit card receipts have her signature." I flip through the statements again, noticing a recurring charge. "What's Horizon Partners?" "Investment firm. Very exclusive." Jess pulls up information on her tablet. Minimum buy-in of $200,000. The amount matches a withdrawal from my mother's retirement account. And look who's on their client relations team. Jess turns the tablet toward me. Alfred's face smiles back at me from the company website. "I don't understand," I whisper. "Alfred is a corporate lawyer. He doesn't work in investments." "According to my sources, he doesn't work for Horizon officially. He refers select clients for a commission." My mind races. Alfred met my mother through me 3 years ago. He proposed a year and a half ago, right when these financial changes began. He's been playing a longer game than I realized, I say, feeling sick. But why involve Violet? Insurance, maybe. Jess gathers the papers. Or just keeping it in the family. I think of Violet's confusion about the trust fund, her insistence that Alfred loves her. What if she's telling the truth about not knowing his financial motives? I need to talk to my mother. My childhood home looks smaller somehow, the garden less immaculate than I remember. My mother opens the door before I can knock, her expression guarded. "This is unexpected," she says, not moving to let me in. "We need to talk." I hold up the financial documents. "About Horizon Partners." Her face pales. She glances at the neighbor's house, then pulls me inside. The living room is the same as always, formal, impeccable, unlived in. But there are subtle changes. The silver candlesticks missing from the mantel. The space where a small painting once hung. "Where did you get those?" she demands, nodding at the papers in my hand. "That's not important. What matters is that Alfred has been stealing from you." She laughs, a brittle sound. "Don't be ridiculous. Alfred helped me invest my money. In a scheme. Mom, Horizon Partners isn't legitimate. They take your money and—" "Stop." Her voice is sharp. "I know exactly what I invested in. The returns have been exceptional." "Have you actually received any returns, or just statements showing growth?" Her hesitation tells me everything. "Mom," I say gently, "when was the last time you tried to withdraw money from this investment?" She sits down heavily. They require a 12-month commitment, which conveniently would have ended right after my wedding. I sit beside her, after I signed Alfred's prenup giving him access to my trust fund. "That's absurd. Alfred wouldn't—" She stops, uncertainty crossing her face. "He and Violet are both involved, yes, though I'm starting to think Violet doesn't know the full extent of it." My mother's composure cracks. "I've lost everything, haven't I?" The vulnerability in her voice strikes me. I've never seen her like this, scared, diminished. "Not everything," I say. "We can fight this, but I need to know when Alfred first approached you about investing." She tells me everything, how Alfred had mentioned exclusive investment opportunities, how he'd shown her fabricated success stories, how he'd made her feel special for being included. "I was trying to secure our future," she says. "Your father never left us with much security." The mention of my father, who died believing he'd provided well for us, stings. "Did Violet know about your investments?" My mother nods slowly. "Alfred brought her to one of the meetings, said it would be good for her to learn about finance." "And she never mentioned it to me?" "I asked them not to. I wanted to surprise you with the returns." Her laugh is hollow. "I was a fool." As we talk, pieces click into place. Alfred cultivated relationships with both my mother and sister, using each relationship to strengthen his position. The prenup was the final piece, access to the one fortune he couldn't touch otherwise. My phone buzzes with a text from Emma. 911. "Violet just called me crying. She's at Alfred's apartment and needs help. Says he's showing his true colors." Cold dread washes over me. I have to go. Violet's in trouble. My mother grabs my arm. "What are you going to do?" "What I should have done from the beginning. Protect my sister." "After what she did to you?" Disbelief colors her voice. "She's still my sister." I head for the door, and Alfred has been manipulating all of us. "Noelle," my mother calls after me. "Be careful. Men like Alfred, they don't like losing." Outside, I call Emma. "I'm on my way to Alfred's. Call Bryant and tell him what's happening." "Shouldn't we call the police?" I think of Alfred's connections, his ability to charm and manipulate. "Not yet. First, I need to get Violet out of there." As I drive, another text comes through. From Violet this time. "I'm sorry." You were right about everything. He wants the necklace back, says it's worth more than I know. The emerald necklace, still in my purse from this morning. What did Alfred say? You might not like what you find. I press the accelerator harder. Whatever game Alfred is playing, it ends tonight. Alfred's luxury apartment building gleams like a fortress of glass and steel. The doorman recognizes me, his eyes widening slightly. Ms. Harper, I thought, I'm expected, I lie, striding past him. In the elevator, I check my phone. No new messages from Violet. Emma is 20 minutes away. Bryant hasn't responded. My fingers close around the velvet pouch in my purse, the emerald necklace suddenly heavy with significance. The elevator opens directly into Alfred's penthouse. The space is immaculate as always. Minimalist furniture, strategic lighting, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. No sign of disturbance. No sign of Violet. Hello? My voice echoes in the open space. Alfred emerges from his home office, tumbler of whiskey in hand. He looks unsurprised to see me. Noel, what an unexpected pleasure. His tone is smooth, controlled. Where's Violet? He takes a deliberate sip. Not here. Cold fear grips me. She texted me, said she was with you. Did she? He sets down his glass. Phones can be so unreliable. I pull out my phone, showing him Violet's message. Stop playing games. Where is my sister? Alfred studies the text, then smiles. Ah, she was here earlier. We had a disagreement. She left. Without her phone? I step closer. What did you do to her? Always so dramatic. He sighs. I simply explained some financial realities she wasn't prepared to accept. Like how you've been scamming my mother? His expression flickers, surprise, quickly masked. I've helped your mother make sound investments. In a fake company with non-existent returns? I move toward the windows, keeping distance between us. The game is over, Alfred. I know everything. He laughs, but it doesn't reach his eyes. You always think you know everything. That's your problem, Noel. So convinced of your own superiority. This isn't about me. It's about what you've done to my family. Your family? His voice hardens. The mother who values status over happiness? The sister who's been jealous of you her entire life? They were easy to convince, Noel, because deep down, they wanted to believe they deserved more than you gave them. Each word lands like a blow, but I hold my ground. Where is Violet's phone? He gestures vaguely toward his office. Probably in there. She was quite upset when she left. I move toward the office, keeping my eyes on him. The door is ajar, desk lamp casting shadows across the room. Violet's phone lies on the desk beside. I freeze. Beside it is a jeweler's loop and a document titled Emerald Authentication. Curious about the necklace? Alfred appears in the doorway behind me. It's quite a remarkable piece, much more valuable than your family realizes. I turn slowly. What are you talking about? The emerald. He steps into the room. Colombian, exceptional clarity, over 15 carats, conservatively worth $500,000, more with its historical provenance. My mind races. My grandmother's necklace is a family heirloom, not some priceless gem. Your grandmother's? He laughs. That necklace dates back to the 1850s. It belonged to a Spanish countess before making its way to America. Your family probably has no idea of its true origin or value. The pieces click together. That's why you wanted me to wear it at the wedding. You were going to steal it. Not steal, simply relocate. His smile is cold. I have a buyer who's been looking for exactly such a piece. No questions asked. And when I didn't wear it to the wedding, Violet proved useful after all. He shrugs. She took it without prompting, a gift from the universe. Disgust rises in my throat. Did you ever care about either of us? Business is business, Noel. He steps closer. Now, I believe you have something that belongs to me. The necklace doesn't belong to you. Neither does your grandfather's trust fund, but that didn't stop you from hoarding it. His voice turned silky. You never planned to share with Violet, did you? Even knowing how your mother always favored you? I won't let him manipulate me. Where is Violet now? Safe, probably crying to one of her friends. He holds out his hand. The necklace, Noel. And if I don't give it to you? His expression hardens. Then things become unpleasant for everyone. My phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. It's Daria. Violet is with me. She's scared. Alfred threatened her. Relief floods through me, followed by clarity. I need to keep Alfred talking until Emma arrives. You know what I don't understand? I move toward the window, putting the desk between us. Why the elaborate scheme? Why not just steal the necklace? Because I'm not a thief, he says, affronted. I'm an opportunist. The trust fund was the primary goal. The necklace was a bonus. And my mother's investments? Seed money, establishing credibility. He smiles. Your mother was surprisingly easy to convince, so eager to prove her financial acumen. You destroyed her retirement for seed money? Anger burns through me. Collateral damage, he shrugs. Now enough stalling. The necklace. I reach into my purse, fingers closing around the velvet pouch. You know what the worst part is, Alfred? I actually loved you. And I appreciated that about you. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Love makes people so wonderfully compliant. The elevator chimes in the living room. Alfred's head turns slightly at the sound. In that moment of distraction, I press send on the voice recording app that's been running since I entered the apartment, forwarding the file to Emma, Bryant, and Jess. Alfred's eyes narrow as he turns back. What did you just do? I hold up my phone, showing him the sent confirmation. Business is business, Alfred. The fury that crosses his face is terrifying. He lunges across the desk, grabbing for my wrist. Give me that phone! I sidestep, but he catches my arm, fingers digging painfully into my skin. We struggle, his strength overwhelming mine. Let her go. Emma's voice cuts through the room. She stands in the doorway, Bryant beside her, both of their phones held up, recording. Alfred freezes, calculation passing across his face. He releases me with a shove that sends me stumbling backward. This proves nothing, he says, straightening his shirt. It's your word against mine. Actually, Bryant steps forward, it's your words against you. That confession about defrauding Reese Henderson? Very compelling evidence. Alfred's face drains of color as he realizes the extent of what I've recorded. You won't get away with this, he hisses at me. I pull the emerald necklace from my purse, holding it up to the light. I already have. The police station smells like industrial cleaner and bad coffee. I've been answering the same questions for 3 hours, my voice growing hoarse as I explain Alfred's scheme again and again. The recording makes it straightforward, but the detective wants every detail. And the necklace? She asks, making notes. A family heirloom. I place the velvet pouch on the table, apparently worth far more than we realized. She nods. We'll need to keep this as evidence temporarily. I understand. I glance at the clock, nearly midnight. Is my sister still here? Finishing her statement in the next room. When I'm finally released, I find Emma waiting in the lobby, scrolling through her phone. Bryant took your mother home, she says, standing. Alfred's being held without bail, flight risk. And Violet? Emma hesitates, still inside. Daria's waiting for her. As if summoned by her name, Violet emerges from a side door, looking small and exhausted. When she sees me, she stops, uncertainty written across her face. I'll wait in the car, Emma says, squeezing my arm before slipping outside. Violet and I stand in silence, the fluorescent lights humming overhead. All the anger I've carried these past weeks feels suddenly heavy, exhausting. I didn't know, she finally says, about Mom's money, about the necklace. I know, her eyes widen slightly. You believe me? Alfred manipulated all of us. I take a step closer. But that doesn't erase what you did, Violet. You still chose to sleep with my fiancé. You still chose to humiliate me at my wedding. She looks down. I was jealous of everything you had, everything you were. And now? I ask. What do you think I have now? Tears fill her eyes. Your dignity, your strength. She wipes her cheek. I never had either. The admission hangs between us. Not quite an apology, but perhaps the most honest thing she's ever said to me. Where will you go tonight? I ask. Daria's offering her couch. She attempts a smile. Apparently, I've used up all my betrayal allowance with her. I nod, not yet ready to offer more. Get some rest. We'll talk tomorrow. As she turns to leave, I add, Violet, I'm glad you're safe. The surprise in her eyes says everything about our relationship, how broken it's been, long before Alfred entered our lives. Dawn breaks as I unlock my apartment door, Emma trailing behind me. We're both exhausted, moving on autopilot as we kick off shoes and collapse onto the couch. You should sleep, Emma says, stifling a yawn. Not yet. I pull out my phone, dialing a number I rarely use. My mother answers on the first ring, voice alert despite the hour. Noelle, is it over? Alfred's in custody. The police have everything they need. I take a deep breath. But we need to talk about what happens next. I've lost everything, she says quietly. The investments, the house equity. Not everything. I meet Emma's questioning gaze. I'm transferring funds from my trust to cover your losses. Silence on the line. Then, I can't accept that. You're not accepting anything. I'm fixing what Alfred broke. I pause. But there are conditions. What conditions? Her voice turns wary. Family therapy, you, me, and Violet, weekly. Another long silence. Is that really necessary? Yes. My voice is firm. What happened with Alfred exposed cracks that were already there. We need to address them. And if I refuse? Then you'll still get the money. I close my eyes, finding strength I didn't know I had. But you won't have me. I hear her sharp intake of breath. You'd cut me off? I'd stop enabling patterns that hurt all of us. The words feel right as I say them. I love you, Mom, but I won't sacrifice my well-being for your comfort anymore. When she finally speaks, her voice is different, smaller, but somehow more real than I've heard in years. When do we start? After we hang up, Emma studies me. You okay? Getting there. I lean back, exhaustion washing over me. I never thought I'd be using my trust fund to bail out my mother and rebuild a relationship with the sister who slept with my fiancé. Emma smiles. Life's funny that way. Hilarious. But I find myself smiling too. My phone buzzes with a text from Bryant. Just heard from the jeweler. Your grandmother's emerald is indeed museum quality. The authentication is legitimate. I show Emma the message. At least one good thing came from this mess. Besides exposing your con man fiancé and beginning to heal your dysfunctional family? She asks dryly. Besides that, we lapse into comfortable silence as the morning light strengthens. I think about the woman I was just weeks ago, planning a wedding, trusting blindly, avoiding difficult conversations. I need to shower, I announce, standing, then sleep for approximately 3 days. Emma nods. Want me to stay? No. I smile at her surprise. I'm okay being alone now. As she gathers her things to leave, I find myself standing at my window, watching the city wake up. The emerald necklace is still in police custody, but I can feel its weight around my neck, the inheritance of strength I never knew I possessed. Emma pauses at the door. What will you do with the necklace when you get it back? I turn from the window, the answer coming with unexpected clarity. Keep it safe, then someday pass it to someone who understands its true value. Not its price, its history. The story of women who survived betrayal and emerged stronger, a legacy worth more than any gemstone. I am who I choose to be, I whisper to myself as the door closes behind Emma. The words echo in my empty apartment, no longer a statement of defiance, but a simple, powerful truth.
I used to think the worst moment of my life would feel like an explosion. Some dramatic, earth-shattering event that would leave me gasping in the debris. Instead, it was quiet. Just the soft click of my grandmother's antique door handle as I pushed it open, and the rustle of bed sheets that weren't supposed to be moving at 2 p.m. Ian. My voice came out smaller than I intended. Stupid, really. I already knew it was him. I'd recognize the broad slope of his shoulders anywhere. What I didn't recognize was the cascade of honey blonde hair spilling across my pillow, until my sister Allison lifted her head and met my eyes. Time stretched like taffy. I stood frozen in the doorway, my hand still gripping that brass handle, its familiar warmth now burning against my palm. The diamond on my left hand caught the afternoon light, throwing tiny rainbows across the wall, a cruel reminder of promises made just 6 weeks ago. "Sophia," Ian started, but I was already backing away. My heel caught the edge of the hallway rug, the one Allison had helped me pick out last month. I stumbled, caught myself against the wall. The frame I hit held our family photo from last Christmas. My sister and I, arms around each other, matching smiles. Lies, all of it. "Don't." The word came out raw. "Just don't." I ran. Down the stairs, past the living room where we'd spent countless movie nights, through the kitchen where Ian had proposed. Behind me, I heard scrambling, Ian calling my name, but I was already out the front door. The spring air hit my face, too warm, too sweet with blooming cherry blossoms. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Probably Ian or Allison. I yanked it out, ready to throw it, but Hope's name flashed on the screen. My best friend. The only person I could trust now. "Hey, you okay? You're not answering your texts." "They're sleeping together." My voice cracked. "Hope, I just walked in on them. In my bed, my sister and my fiancé." Silence stretched across the line. Then, "I'm coming to get you. Where are you?" I looked around, realizing I'd been walking blindly. "Parker Street, by the coffee shop." "Stay there, 10 minutes. I sank onto a bench, my legs finally giving out. An elderly woman walked past, smiling kindly. She probably thought I was just another young professional taking a break. She couldn't see how my world had imploded, how every memory was being rewritten in cruel new light. All those late nights Allison spent helping with wedding planning. The way Ian insisted we use her as our photographer. The knowing looks they must have shared behind my back. God, how long had this been going on? My phone buzzed again, a text from Allison. "We need to talk, it's not what you think." Another buzz. "Ian, please let me explain. I never meant to hurt you." I laughed, a harsh sound that startled a nearby pigeon. The engagement ring felt like it was burning my finger. I tried to pull it off, but my hands were shaking too badly. Hope's blue Subaru screeched to a halt at the curb. She jumped out, still in her detective's badge and blazer, and wrapped me in a fierce hug. I broke then, sobbing into her shoulder like I hadn't since we were kids. "I've got you," she murmured. "We'll figure this out." I trusted them. My voice was muffled against her jacket. They were the two people I trusted most in the world. "I know," Hope's tone hardened, "and they're going to regret this." She guided me to her car, but I froze when I saw something on the passenger seat. A cream-colored envelope, elaborate gold lettering visible through the window. "What's that?" Hope's expression darkened. "It came to the station today. I was bringing it to you." I picked up the envelope with numb fingers. The return address was my sister's. Inside was a wedding invitation, dated 3 months from now. The names made my stomach lurch. "Alison Cooper and Ian Long request the pleasure of your company." 3 months, I whispered. "They're getting married in 3 months." Hope's hand found mine, squeezing hard. "What do you want to do?" I stared at the invitation, at my sister's name, entwined with my fiancé's in elegant script. The diamond ring on my finger, my grandmother's ring, passed down through generations, caught the light again. The ring Alison had always envied, the one she'd be wearing now. Something cold and hard crystallized in my chest. "I want them to pay." Hope studied my face for a long moment. "Okay," she said finally. "Then let's make them pay." Hope's apartment became my refuge that night. I sat curled on her couch, still in my work clothes, staring at my phone as the messages piled up. 37 from Ian, 23 from Alison. Each notification felt like another twist of the knife. "You need to eat something," Hope said, setting a mug of tea in front of me. The steam carried hints of chamomile, but my stomach churned at the thought of consuming anything. "I need to understand how long." My voice sounded hollow, even to me. "Was it happening when he proposed? When we picked out the venue? When—" "Don't torture yourself." Hope sat beside me, her detective's instincts clearly warring with her role as best friend. "Though, if you want answers, I might have a way." I looked up. "What do you mean? Remember that case I worked last year? The one with the corrupt accountant?" She leaned forward, lowering her voice despite us being alone. "I still have some contacts who are really good at accessing information." The implication hung in the air. Part of me wanted to refuse, to take the high road, to be better than them. But then my phone buzzed again, and Alison's text preview flashed across the screen. "You're being dramatic. Just let me explain." Dramatic. The word ignited something dark inside me. "Do it." Hope made a call, speaking in clipped, professional tones. I half listened, my mind drifting to all the signs I'd missed. The way Ian always insisted on having guys' nights when Alison was in town. How my sister volunteered to help with his Christmas shopping, coming back hours later with nothing to show for it. A knock at the door startled me from my thoughts. Hope checked the peephole, then opened it to reveal a tall man in a sharp suit. "Prince?" I recognized Alison's ex-boyfriend, though I hadn't seen him since their messy breakup 2 years ago. "Sophia." He nodded, his expression grim. Hope called, said you needed to know the truth about Alison. My chest tightened. "What truth?" He pulled out his phone, scrolling through it with precise movements. "I kept everything. The texts, the emails, the photos. I thought about exposing it all when she left me, but—" He shrugged. "I decided to be the bigger person. Now I'm thinking that was a mistake." He handed me the phone. The first image was a hotel receipt from 8 months ago, when Ian was supposedly at a business conference in Chicago. Except this receipt was from the Four Seasons in Boston, where Alison had been for a photography workshop. My hands shook as I scrolled. More receipts, restaurant charges, a jewelry store purchase the day before Ian proposed to me, then text messages between them, stretching back over a year. "There's more," Prince said quietly, "but you might want to brace yourself." The next image made my blood run cold. It was a bank statement showing regular transfers from Ian's account to Alison's, starting 3 months before he proposed. The amounts matched the wedding photography deposits he'd insisted on handling himself. "They were planning this," I whispered. "The whole time they were—" My phone rang, Alison's face lighting up the screen. Without thinking, I answered. Finally, "Look, I know you're upset, but how long?" My voice was ice. "What? How long have you been sleeping with my fiancé, Alison? Was it before or after you helped him pick out my engagement ring? Before or after you convinced me to let you photograph the wedding?" Silence crackled across the line. Then, in that condescending tone she'd perfected since childhood. "It's complicated, Sophia. You wouldn't understand. Ian and I, we have a connection funded by his bank account." The words tasted like poison. "Those deposits must have really helped your photography business, sis." Another pause. When she spoke again, her voice had lost its smoothness. "Who told you about that? Prince? That pathetic. Goodbye, Allison." I ended the call and turned to Hope and Prince. I want everything. Every receipt, every message, every dirty little secret they thought they could hide. Hope's expression was carefully neutral. "What are you planning?" I thought about the wedding invitation, still sitting in Hope's car, about the way Allison had hugged me after Ian proposed, whispering, "I'm so happy for you," while wearing the bracelet he'd bought her the day before. "They want a wedding?" I smiled, and it felt like breaking glass. "Let's give them one they'll never forget." Prince raised an eyebrow. "I'm in. Whatever you need." Hope sighed, but I saw the determination in her eyes. "Just promise me one thing, Sophia. Whatever we do it smart. No impulsive moves." I nodded, my grandmother's ring catching the light one last time before I slipped it off. "Trust me, impulsive is the last thing this will be." The storage unit smelled like dust and forgotten promises. I stood in front of the small safe tucked in the corner, my grandmother's ring heavy in my palm. Inside were the only copies of photos from my parents' wedding, the ones Allison had always coveted, claiming they'd been lost when she moved. "You sure about this?" Hope asked, flashlight beam steady on the safe's dial. "They're in here, along with Mum's jewelry." I twisted the combination, Allison's birthday, because of course that's what our mother had used. She always said she'd keep them safe for me. The safe clicked open. Inside, nestled among velvet pouches and yellowed envelopes, sat a familiar blue folder. My hands trembled as I pulled it out. "Well, that's interesting." Prince's voice made me jump. He stood in the doorway, silhouetted against the fluorescent hallway lights. "Your sister's been busy with more than just Ian." He handed me his phone. On the screen was an email chain between Allison and our family lawyer, dated 3 months ago. My eyes caught phrases like transfer of ownership and family estate. "She's trying to claim Grandma's house." The words came out choked. "But that's supposed to be split between us. Keep reading." I scrolled down, my vision blurring. Allison had been laying groundwork for months, documenting every time I'd shown instability or made concerning decisions. The final email mentioned her upcoming marriage to Ian as proof she could provide a stable family environment for the property. "I'm going to be sick." I sat heavily on a dusty box, the folder of wedding photos clutched to my chest. Hope's hand found my shoulder. "We can use this. If she's trying to manipulate the inheritance..." A shadow moved in the hallway. We all froze. "Hello?" A familiar voice called out. "Is someone in there?" Griffin, my co-worker. The one person at work who'd noticed something was wrong when I stopped wearing my engagement ring. "Sophia." He appeared in the doorway, confusion clear on his face. "What are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing," I managed, trying to look casual while Hope subtly moved to block the safe. "I rent the unit next door." His eyes moved from me to Prince to Hope, then to the folder in my hands. "Are you okay? You've seemed off lately. And now this." "I'm fine." The lie tasted bitter. "Just collecting some old photos." "At 9 p.m. with a detective." He gestured to Hope's badge, still visible on her belt. "Look, if you're in trouble..." "She's not," Prince cut in smoothly. "But someone else might be. Someone who's been taking advantage of family connections." Understanding dawned in Griffin's eyes. "This is about your sister, isn't it? And Ian." The sound of their names together made me flinch. Griffin noticed. "Let me help," he said quietly. "Whatever's going on, you don't have to handle it alone." "You don't understand what you're offering," I warned. "This could get messy. I understand enough." He stepped fully into the unit, closing the door behind him. I understand that two people who claimed to love you betrayed you, and I understand that sometimes justice needs a little help. Hope shot me a warning look, but I was already pulling out my phone, showing Griffin the evidence Prince had gathered. His expression darkened as he scrolled. "There's more," I said, opening the folder of wedding photos. "She's trying to steal our inheritance, using her relationship with Ian to prove she's more stable than me." Griffin handed back my phone. "You know what's interesting about financial fraud? It's amazing how many people forget about digital footprints, especially when they're accessing legal documents they shouldn't have." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I work in cybersecurity, Sophia, and if someone were hypothetically trying to access confidential files without authorization..." Hope straightened. "That would be a criminal offense. Only if they get caught." Griffin's smile was sharp. "So, what's the plan?" I looked at the three people around me. Hope with her legal knowledge, Prince with his evidence, Griffin with his technical skills. Then I thought of Alison's smug text. "You're being dramatic. The plan," I said, pulling out the wedding invitation, "is to make sure their perfect day has some unexpected guests, starting with the family lawyer." "That's risky," Hope cautioned. "If we move too fast..." My phone buzzed. A text from Adam, my ex. "Heard about Ian. Need to talk. It's important." "Speaking of unexpected guests," Prince muttered. I stared at the message, remembering how things had ended with Adam, messy and unfinished, like a book missing its final chapter. Now he wanted back in the story. "Maybe we need risky," I said, more to myself than the others. "Maybe safe is what got me here in the first place." I typed back a single word. "When?" The diner's neon sign cast a sickly blue glow across Adam's face as he slid into the booth across from me. 3 years since our breakup, and he still ordered the same black coffee, still wore that battered leather jacket. "You look good," he said, studying me over the rim of his mug. Considering my fiancé is marrying my sister." The words didn't hurt as much as they had yesterday. Maybe I was going numb. "How did you hear?" "Ian called me." Adam's expression darkened. Wanted to explain his side before I found out from someone else, like he was doing me a favor. My stomach clenched. "What did he say?" "That you were unstable, that Alison was just trying to help, and things happened." He reached across the table, his fingers brushing mine. "I know that's bullshit, Sophia. I know you." I pulled my hand back. "Do you? Because last time we were here, you said I was too intense, too focused on what everyone else thought." "I was wrong." His voice dropped. "And I think that's why Ian targeted you, because you care so deeply about family, about doing the right thing. He knew you wouldn't see it coming." Something cold settled in my chest. "What aren't you telling me?" Adam glanced around the nearly empty diner, then pulled out his phone. "Remember Marcus from accounting? He sent me this." The email on his screen was from Ian to the company's HR department, dated 2 months ago. A request for transfer to the Boston office, effective immediately after his wedding. Along with it, a recommendation letter for Alison to take over his current position. "They're not just stealing your life," Adam said quietly. "They're taking your future. That promotion you've been working toward, the one Ian kept saying you were a shoo-in for." My coffee turned to acid in my stomach. The promotion I'd spent 3 years earning, staying late, taking on extra projects, all while Ian apparently planned to hand it to my sister. "There's more," Adam continued. "Marcus said Ian's been quietly undermining your work for months. Small things, taking credit for your ideas, suggesting you might not be ready for more responsibility." The fluorescent light suddenly felt too bright, the vinyl booth too sticky. "I think I need some air." Outside, the night air was thick with approaching rain. I leaned against the brick wall, trying to steady my breathing, while Adam stood quietly beside me. "Why are you telling me this?" I finally asked. "Why get involved?" "Because I remember how it felt, watching you doubt yourself when we were together. How hard you worked to prove everyone wrong." He turned to face me. "And because I saw what Alison did to Prince. how she played the victim while destroying him professionally. My phone buzzed. A text from Griffin. Found something in the lawyer's files. You need to see this. I have to go. I straightened, already reaching for my keys. Wait. Adam caught my wrist. Whatever you're planning, and I know you're planning something, be careful. Ian's not just some cheating fiancé. He's methodical. He's been laying groundwork for months. So have I. I met his eyes. Are you warning me off or offering to help? Both. Neither. He ran a hand through his hair in frustration. Just remember what happened with Marcus when he tried to expose corporate fraud last year. I remembered. Marcus had all the evidence, all the proof. He'd also ended up blacklisted from every major firm in the city. I'm not Marcus, I said, and I'm not the same person you broke up with 3 years ago. No, Adam agreed softly. You're not. That's what scares me. My phone buzzed again. Hope this time. Where are you? Griffin found proof of wire fraud. I have to go, I repeated, already moving toward my car. Sophia, Adam's voice stopped me. There's one more thing. The night before Ian proposed to you, he was with Allison. They had dinner with your family lawyer. Something about updating your grandmother's will. The pieces clicked together. The inheritance, the promotion, the careful documentation of my instability. They weren't just planning a wedding. They were systematically dismantling my life. Thank you, I said, meaning it, for telling me. What are you going to do? I thought about the safe in the storage unit, about Griffin's discovery, about Prince's evidence. I'm going to show them what happens when you underestimate someone. The first drops of rain hit the pavement as I drove away, leaving Adam in the rearview mirror. My phone lit up with another text, from Ian this time. We need to talk about the house. Your sister's worried about your state of mind. I smiled, and it felt like war. Oh, we'll talk, I whispered to the empty car, but not until I'm ready. Griffin's apartment looked like a command center from a heist movie. Laptops surrounded him on the coffee table, screens filled with financial records and email chains. Hope paced behind the couch, her detective's mind clearly racing. It's worse than we thought, Griffin said as I shrugged off my rain-soaked jacket. The wire transfers? They're just the beginning. He turned one laptop toward me. The document displayed was a trust agreement, my grandmother's elegant signature at the bottom. Except, that's not her signature. I leaned closer, stomach churning. The G is wrong. She always looped it twice. Exactly. Hope stopped pacing. And guess who notarized it? The family lawyer, I whispered, remembering Adam's words about that dinner before Ian's proposal. 3 days before your grandmother passed, Griffin confirmed, when she was in the hospital, barely conscious. The implications hit me like a physical blow. I sank onto the couch, the room spinning slightly. They forged her signature. They waited until she couldn't fight back, and they just... There's more. Prince emerged from the kitchen, his usual polish cracked by obvious anger. Show her the emails, Griffin. Another screen. Another betrayal. Emails between Allison and Ian, dating back to before I'd even met him. They'd planned everything. How he would accidentally meet me at the charity gala. How he'd pursue me while keeping Allison in the background. I was never anything but a stepping stone. The words tasted like ashes. A way to get the inheritance, the house, the job. You were the golden child, Prince said quietly. The one your parents trusted with the family business. The one your grandmother chose. Allison couldn't stand it. My phone lit up, Allison's face on the screen. Without thinking, I answered. Finally decided to be reasonable. Her voice dripped honey-sweet concern. Ian and I are worried about you, hiding away like this. It's not healthy. Like forging a dying woman's signature? The line went dead silent. Or maybe like planning to steal her granddaughter's life. Who? She caught herself. I don't know what you're talking about. You're obviously having some kind of breakdown. Stop. My voice shook with rage. Just stop. I have the emails, Allison. The trust agreement. Everything. A pause. Then her tone changed completely. What do you want? Excuse me. To keep quiet. What's your price? Clinical, calculating. The sister I never truly knew. Name it. Ian and I can... Can what? Pay me off with the money you stole? I laughed, and it sounded strange even to my ears. You really don't know me at all, do you? Don't be stupid, Sophia. Think about Mom and Dad. Think about the scandal. Goodbye, Allison. I ended the call and looked up to find 3 pairs of eyes watching me intently. She'll come after you now, Hope warned. They both will. No more playing nice. Good. I stood, walking to Griffin's evidence wall. Photos, documents, timelines all connected with red string. Because I'm done playing nice too. My phone buzzed again. A text from Adam. Ian's looking for your grandmother's ring. Says it's a family emergency. They're getting desperate, Prince observed, reading over my shoulder. That's when people make mistakes. Or when they get dangerous, Hope countered. We need to be smart about this. Griffin cleared his throat. Actually, I might have an idea, but... He hesitated. You're not going to like it. Try me. The wedding's at the Grand Hotel, right? Where you work events sometimes. At my nod, he continued. Well, what if we didn't just expose them? What if we let them think they've won first? Understanding dawned. You want me to play along? Just long enough to get everything in place. The hotel's security system, the guest list, the timing. He gestured to his screens. We could turn their perfect day into the moment everything falls apart. It's risky, Hope said. If they suspect anything. They won't. I walked to the window, watching rain streak the glass. Because they think they know exactly who I am. The good sister, the reliable one, the one who always takes the high road. My phone lit up one more time. An email from the family lawyer, requesting an urgent meeting to discuss concerning behavior. Right on cue. I turned back to my unlikely allies, the detective, the ex, the tech expert, each bringing pieces of the puzzle together. The wedding's in 8 weeks, I said. Let's make them count. Prince raised an eyebrow. You sure about this? Once we start, they took everything from me. I picked up my grandmother's ring from my pocket, holding it to the light. Now I'm going to take everything from them, starting with their perfect day. The rain pounded harder against the windows, nature's applause for the storm to come. The bridal boutique's bell chimed as I entered, and my sister's face lit up with calculated joy. You came! Allison rushed forward, arms open. I let her hug me, feeling like a spy behind enemy lines. Of course. I forced a smile, remembering Griffin's coaching. You're still my sister. The boutique owner cooed at our reconciliation, while Hope watched silently from a corner, playing her role as the supportive friend. We'd planned this carefully. My apparent breakdown, followed by a tearful phone call accepting Allison's invitation to her final fitting. The dress is perfect, Allison gushed, twirling in layers of white silk. Ian's going to lose his mind. Not the only thing he's going to lose, I thought, but kept my expression neutral. It's beautiful. Speaking of Ian, Allison's voice turned hesitant. He really wants to talk to you. Clear the air before the wedding. I don't know if I'm ready. The tremor in my voice wasn't entirely acting. Please? She grabbed my hands, and for a moment I saw the sister I'd grown up with, the one I'd trusted with everything. Just coffee? Tomorrow morning at Marcel's? From the corner, Hope gave an imperceptible nod. Marcel's was perfect, public enough to be safe, close enough to Griffin's surveillance setup. Okay, I whispered. Tomorrow. Allison beamed, turning back to the mirror. You know, it's funny. I always thought you'd be the first to get married. You were always so conventional. The word hit like a slap. In the mirror's reflection, I saw Hope tense. But life's surprising, isn't it? Allison continued, adjusting her veil. Sometimes the person you think is perfect for someone else turns out to be perfect for you instead. My nails dug into my palms. How long? How long were you in love with him? Allison's hand stilled on the veil. Our eyes met in the mirror. Always, she said softly, since the night you introduced us. But he was with you, and I tried to be happy for you both. I really did. Liar. The word slipped out before I could stop it. She spun to face me, silk rustling. Excuse me? I saw the emails, Alison. From before I met Ian, you planned everything. The boutique owner disappeared into the back room, sensing the tension. Hope moved closer, ready to intervene. You weren't supposed to find those. Alison's voice turned cold. You're really making this harder than it needs to be, like you made it hard for Prince, destroying his career when he caught on to your games. Prince was a mistake. He didn't understand what Ian and I have. She stepped closer, dropping her voice. Just like you don't understand that sometimes love means taking what you want, whatever it costs. Even if it costs your sister everything? Oh, Sophia. She touched my cheek, a parody of sisterly affection. You'll bounce back. You always do. The reliable one, remember. But if you keep pushing... Her nail dug in slightly. Well, the family's already worried about your mental state. It would be a shame if your work found out about your... episodes. My phone buzzed. A text from Griffin. Got it all, audio and video. I stepped back, letting out a shaky breath. You really think you've won, don't you? Haven't I? She turned back to the mirror, adjusting her perfect dress. I get Ian, the house, the promotion. You get... What? Some moral high ground. That's always been your problem, Sophia. You play by the rules and wonder why you lose. Hope's hand found my shoulder, steadying me. Another text lit up my phone. From Ian. Can't wait to talk tomorrow. There's so much you need to understand. You're right, I said, watching Alison preen. I did always play by the rules. She smiled smugly. But rules can change. I walked out of the boutique, Hope close behind. In the car, she finally spoke. You okay? No. I pulled out my phone, dialing Griffin. But I will be. Did you get what we needed? Every word. His voice crackled through the speaker, including the threat. Prince is already working on the video edit. Good. I stared at the boutique's facade, at Alison visible through the window in her perfect white dress. Because tomorrow's coffee with Ian, that's our last piece. You sure you can handle it? Hope asked, being face to face with him. I thought of Alison's words. Sometimes love means taking what you want, whatever it costs. Watch me. I started the car, leaving my sister's reflection behind. By this time tomorrow, they'll wish they'd never underestimated the reliable one. My phone lit up one last time. A message from Adam. Ian's getting nervous, making calls about moving up the wedding date. Let him try, I muttered, pressing the accelerator. The trap's already set. And tomorrow, it would snap shut. Marcel's morning crowd parted like water as I walked in, though maybe that was just in my head. Ian sat at our old table by the window, 2 coffees already waiting. He'd ordered mine with almond milk, a detail that once would have made my heart flutter. You look beautiful, he said as I sat down, the same soft tone he'd used when he proposed. Don't. I wrapped my hands around the coffee cup, letting its warmth ground me. Through the window, I glimpsed Hope's car across the street, Griffin's surveillance van 2 spaces down. I know you're angry. Ian leaned forward, his cologne achingly familiar. But what Alison and I have, it's real, Sophia. Sometimes the heart wants... My grandmother's ring. I kept my voice steady. Where is it? He blinked, thrown off script. What? The ring you proposed with. The one that disappeared from my jewelry box the day after I caught you together. I met his eyes. The family heirloom you're planning to give my sister. That's not... He glanced around, lowering his voice. Look, your grandmother would have wanted... Don't you dare. My cup rattled against the saucer. Don't you dare tell me what she would have wanted. You're not thinking clearly. His hand reached for mine. I pulled back. Alison and I are worried about you. These accusations, these paranoid theories. Like the theory that you've been embezzling company funds. I pulled out my phone, sliding it across the table. Or that you forged my grandmother's signature while she was dying. His face went still. Behind him, through the window, I saw Prince's car pull up right on schedule. Where did you get those documents? Does it matter? I took a sip of coffee, channeling Allison's casual cruelty. What matters is where they're going. The board of directors, the family lawyer, the police. You're bluffing. But his hands weren't quite steady as he pushed my phone back. You wouldn't risk hurting your sister like that. My sister? I laughed, the sound sharp enough to make nearby customers turn. You mean the one who helped you steal my promotion? Who's been documenting my mental instability to steal my inheritance? Colour drained from his face. How did you... I know everything, Ian. I stood up, my chair scraping back. Every email, every transfer, every little plan you two made while pretending to love me. Sophia, wait. He grabbed my wrist. We can figure this out. Whatever you want. The cafe door chimed. Allison burst in, face flushed. What did you do? She demanded, waving her phone. The lawyer just called. The trust agreement, the company records. They're investigating everything. Other customers were definitely staring now. Through the window, I saw Hope step out of her car, Prince and Griffin flanking her. You promised to handle this, Allison hissed at Ian. You said she was too naive to... Naive? I twisted free of Ian's grip. Like I was naive when you helped me plan my wedding. Or when you consoled me after Mom died, all while forging documents in her office. Keep your voice down, Ian warned, standing. Why? Worried someone might hear the truth? About the fraud, the forgery, the... Enough! Allison's hand shot out, knocking over my coffee. Hot liquid splashed across the table. You want to play hardball? Fine. Let's talk about your little breakdown last year. The medications, the fake medical records you planted. Hope's voice cut through the chaos as she entered, badge visible. Those are interesting reading, especially the part where the doctor's signature doesn't match any licensed physician in the state. Allison's face went white. Ian started to move, but Prince and Griffin were already there, blocking the exits. You can't prove anything, Ian said, but his voice shook. I pulled out my grandmother's ring, the real one, not the replica they'd stolen. Actually, we can prove everything, starting with this. Where did you... Allison's eyes widened as understanding hit. The safe. You found Mum's safe, and everything in it. I turned to the growing crowd of onlookers, raising my voice. Would anyone like to hear a story about two people who thought love justified fraud, theft, and betraying family? You're making a mistake, Ian tried one last time. Think about your career, your reputation. My reputation? I stepped closer, close enough to smell his fear beneath the expensive cologne. My reputation is about to be the least of your concerns. The cafe door chimed one final time. The family lawyer walked in, followed by two police officers and a man I recognized from the company's board of directors. Perfect timing, I said, smiling at my sister's shocked face. I believe you all have some questions for these two. As the officers moved forward, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the window. I didn't look naive anymore. I didn't look reliable. I looked free. The Grand Hotel's ballroom sparkled with the decorations meant for my sister's perfect day. I stood in the doorway, watching the police photograph evidence instead of wedding flowers, cataloguing crimes where vows should have been exchanged. You okay? Hope appeared beside me, her detective's notepad full of statements. Better than okay. I touched my grandmother's ring, now back on my hand where it belonged. Just thinking about how different this room was supposed to look today. Ms. Cooper, a forensic accountant waved me over to where Ian's laptop lay open. We found something interesting in the deleted files. I walked over, my heels clicking on marble that should have carried my sister down the aisle. The screen showed a familiar document, my grandmother's will, but this version was different from both the real one and the forged one. Look at the date, the accountant said. This draft was created before your grandmother's illness. My breath caught. The will left everything to Allison, but it was in my grandmother's actual handwriting. I don't understand. She changed her mind, a voice said behind me. I turned to find Adam, holding a stack of letters. Found these in Ian's office safe. They're from your grandmother to Alison. I took the letters with trembling hands. The most recent was dated just before her illness. My dearest Alison, I know this will hurt you, but I've decided to change the will. Sophia has shown the judgment and compassion needed to manage the family's legacy. I hope someday you'll understand. She knew. The words tasted bitter. She knew Grandma had chosen me, so she and Ian decided to take what they thought she deserved, Hope finished, by any means necessary. A commotion at the doorway drew our attention. Prince entered, looking grimmer than usual. You need to hear this. He played an audio file on his phone. Alison's voice, crystal clear. Ian, you idiot, she was never supposed to find the original will. That's why we... No, listen to me. If she figures out what really happened during Grandma's last week, when we... The recording cut off, but the implication hung heavy in the air. Are you saying they... I couldn't finish the sentence. The hospital's reopening the investigation into your grandmother's death, Hope said quietly. There were irregularities in her care during those final days. The ballroom spun slightly. Griffin appeared at my elbow, steadying me. There's more, he said. The company audit found evidence of long-term fraud. Not just Ian, other executives too. They're saying you exposed a whole network. I walked to the window, looking out at the garden where the reception should have been, where Alison and Ian would have danced their first dance as husband and wife if today had gone according to their plan. Ms. Cooper? The forensic accountant called again. There's something else you should see. But before I could move, the ballroom doors burst open. Alison stood there, still in custody, but allowed this final visit to gather personal items. Our eyes met across the room that should have been her triumph. Are you happy now? She spat. You've ruined everything. No, Alison. I crossed the marble floor slowly, each step deliberate. You ruined everything. The moment you decided love meant destroying anyone in your way. She was supposed to choose me. Tears streaked her makeup. I was the oldest, the one who sacrificed everything for this family. But she chose you. She always chose you. And you chose revenge. I stopped in front of her, close enough to see the sister I'd lost beneath the stranger she'd become. Was it worth it? She laughed, a broken sound. You tell me, little sister. Was your revenge worth it? I thought about the months of planning, the nights spent building evidence instead of crying, the strength I'd found in my anger. This wasn't revenge, Alison. This was justice. For Grandma. For everyone you and Ian hurt. Justice, she echoed mockingly. Keep telling yourself that. The officers moved to lead her away. At the door, she turned back one last time. You know what's funny? In the end, you became exactly what you hated, someone who'd do anything to win. I watched her disappear down the hallway, her words echoing in the empty ballroom. Around me, evidence was being bagged, statements taken, a criminal empire dismantled on what should have been its day of celebration. She's wrong, Hope said, joining me. You're nothing like them. I touched my grandmother's ring again, feeling its weight, not as a burden now, but as a reminder. No, I said softly. I'm something they never expected me to be. I'm free.
The laughter hits me first. That particular pitch of forced politeness mixed with judgment that only comes from family. I pause in the doorway of my parents' oversized colonial, gripping the handle of the apple pie I spent 3 hours perfecting this morning. Already, I can feel my carefully applied confidence starting to crack. Inside, the annual Morrison family reunion is in full swing. The familiar scent of my mother's cinnamon potpourri mingles with whatever trendy essential oil my sister Talia is diffusing this week. Voices bounce off the vaulted ceiling, cousins comparing private school choices, aunts trading passive-aggressive compliments about weight loss. Lindsay, you finally made it. My mother materializes, pristine in her cream cashmere sweater. Her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes as she takes in my department store blazer. We were just talking about you. That should have been my first warning. In our family, being talked about is never a good thing. I follow her into the great room where conversations pause just a beat too long. My sister Talia holds court by the fireplace, radiant in designer white that probably cost more than my monthly rent. She catches my eye with a smirk that makes my stomach clench. "There's my hard-working sister," she trills. "Tell everyone your big news." Heat creeps up my neck. "Oh, it's not official yet, but I'm up for senior account manager at—" "No, tell them what you told me last week. About the executive promotion?" Talia's eyes gleam. I freeze. I never said anything about— The laughter starts soft, then builds. My cousin Jaden won't meet my eyes. Even my father, usually lost in his crossword puzzle, is watching with uncomfortable fascination. "Oh, honey," my mother sighs. "Talia was just having a little fun. You didn't actually think they'd make you an executive, did you? In accounting?" The room spins slightly. "What?" "It was just a joke," Talia says, still wearing that perfect smile. "I told everyone how you've been dropping hints about this huge promotion. I mean, it was pretty obvious you were making it up for attention. We all know that's not really your level." Each word lands like a slap. The pie plate slips in my sweating hands as decades of family dynamics crystallize in one horrible moment. Every achievement I've shared, every milestone I've celebrated, they've all been jokes. I'm the punchline they've been laughing at all along. "Lindsay, dear, don't be dramatic." My mother's voice has that edge that always preceded childhood lectures about disappointment. "We're just trying to help you be realistic about your capabilities." I look around the room at these people who are supposed to love me. Aunt Marie hiding her smirk behind her wine glass. Cousin Derek actually recording this on his phone. My father suddenly very interested in his newspaper again. And Talia, beautiful golden child Talia, basking in my humiliation like it's her personal spotlight. Only Jaden looks sick about it. He starts to stand, probably to defend me, but I can't bear his pity right now. "I have to go," I manage, backing away. "I forgot. I have a meeting." "On Sunday?" Talia's laugh tinkles like breaking glass. See what I mean? She can't even lie convincingly. I flee, their amusement following me down the hallway. In the foyer, I fumble with my coat, desperate to escape before the tears start falling. A text lights up my phone, from Brennan at work. "Found something weird in the quarterly audit. Need to talk ASAP. It's about your sister." The message blurs as I stare at it, my hands shaking. All these years of trying to prove myself, of swallowing their subtle cruelty, of believing if I just worked harder they'd finally see me as worthy. But they never will. Because that's not what this is about, is it? I think of Talia's designer outfit, her perfect marriage, her meteoric rise at her investment firm, the golden daughter who can do no wrong. Except, what was that about the audit? My phone buzzes again. "Seriously, Elle, this is big. Your sister's name is all over some very questionable transactions." The tears dry up as something harder takes their place. If they want to treat my life as a joke, fine. But maybe it's time I started looking more closely at their perfect lives, starting with whatever my sister's been hiding behind that flawless facade. I leave the pie on the hall table. They can choke on it for all I care, because I'm done trying to earn a seat at their table. It's time to flip it over instead. I sit in my car outside my childhood home, watching raindrops distort the porch lights into watery stars. The reunion's still going strong inside. I can see shadows moving behind the bay windows, probably gathering for my mother's traditional family photo, the one she'll post on Facebook with some saccharine caption about blessed family bonds. My phone keeps lighting up with messages from Brennan. Each one makes my hands shake worse than the last. "These transactions, someone's cooking the books. Need to meet in person, too sensitive for text. Elle, this could be serious fraud. I should drive straight to the office. Instead, I find myself walking through the side gate, drawn to the warm glow of the kitchen window. The familiar path feels different now, like I'm trespassing in my own past. Through the glass, I see my mother arranging desserts on her prized silver tray, probably for the photo op. Even from here, I can tell she's switched out my homemade pie for something store-bought and prettier. The back door's never locked. I slip inside, the kitchen's warmth hitting me like a physical blow after the rain. My mother startles, nearly dropping a crystal bowl of berries. "Lindsay, I thought you'd gone home to whatever meeting you made up." Why do you do that? The words escape before I can stop them. Why do you have to make everything I do sound pathetic? She sighs, that particular exhale that always made me feel 2 inches tall. Don't start. I won't have you ruining another family gathering with your sensitivity. Another? I laugh, and it sounds strange even to me. When have I ever ruined anything? I'm the one who shows up early to help set up, who remembers everyone's dietary restrictions, who spent 3 hours making a pie you apparently threw away. Store-bought is more reliable. She won't meet my eyes, rearranging cookies with surgical precision. You know how particular Talia's friends are. Talia's friends? Something clicks. This isn't even a family reunion, is it? This is another networking event for her? My mother's silence is answer enough. All those relatives, they're not just family. They're investors, business connections, people Talia needs to impress. And I'm the awkward sister whose very existence threatens her carefully curated image. You could learn from her, you know? My mother's voice goes soft, almost pitying. She understands how to present herself, how to make the right connections, instead of hiding in that dreary accounting department, counting other people's money. The irony of her words hits me like a punch to the gut. If Brennan's right, Talia's been doing a lot more than counting money. What would you say? I ask carefully. If I told you Talia might not be exactly who you think she is? For the first time, my mother looks directly at me. Something flickers behind her eyes. Fear? Don't. Don't what? Don't try to tear down your sister just because you're jealous. It's beneath you, Lindsay. Or maybe it isn't anymore. The casual cruelty steals my breath. In the living room, I hear Talia's laugh, bright and false as fool's gold. My phone buzzes again, Brennan sending another urgent message about needing to meet. You're right, I say, my voice steady despite the storm inside. Maybe it is beneath me. But you know what's really beneath me? Pretending everything's fine while you treat me like some embarrassing family secret. I'm done performing for your approval. I turn to leave, but her words follow me. If you do anything to hurt your sister's reputation, don't bother coming back. In the hallway, I pause by the family photos lining the wall. Years of carefully staged moments. Talia's graduations, awards, engagement. I'm in some of them, always slightly out of focus, like the camera itself couldn't quite be bothered with me. But there's one. I step closer, squinting at a picture from last Christmas. Behind Talia's perfect smile, her laptop screen is visible. And those numbers. My phone buzzes one final time. Brennan. Found the smoking gun. Meeting tomorrow, 8 a.m.? I text back a single word. Yes. Outside, the rain has stopped. Through the front window, I watch my family gather for their photo, arranging themselves around Talia like planets around their sun. My mother was right about one thing. I won't be coming back. Not until I've exposed exactly what kind of star they've been orbiting. I start my car, already planning tomorrow's meeting. They wanted to make my life a joke? Fine. But I've got a feeling nobody will be laughing when this punchline hits. Monday morning hits different when you're about to destroy your sister's life. I arrive at the office an hour early, watching sunrise paint the downtown buildings in shades of gold that remind me too much of Talia's perfect highlight. Brennan's already waiting in the conference room, his usual crisp appearance rumpled like he's been up all night. Spreadsheets cover the table, and his laptop shows complex financial diagrams I barely understand. You look like hell, I say, setting down coffee for both of us. Wait till you see this. He pulls up a file. Your sister's firm has been running a sophisticated pump and dump scheme. They're artificially inflating stock values, then selling before the crash. Classic fraud, but the numbers are massive. I lean closer, my accounting brain kicking in despite the emotional storm. And Talia's involved? She's not just involved, she's orchestrating it. He points to a series of transactions. These are her authorization codes. She's been doing this for years, Lindsay. Millions in investor funds just gone. The room spins slightly. I think of all those networking events at my parents' house. All those family friends investing their savings, trusting the golden child who could do no wrong. There's more, Brennan says quietly. Look who some of these investors are. I scan the list, my heart stopping at familiar names. Aunt Marie's retirement fund, Cousin Derek's college savings for his kids, even Jaden's startup capital. They're going to lose everything, I whisper. They already have. These accounts are empty. Your sister's probably planning her exit strategy now. My phone buzzes. Speaking of the devil, a text from Talia. We need to talk. Lunch today? I show Brennan the message. His face goes pale. She knows we're looking into this. Someone must have tipped her off. What do we do? He runs a hand through his disheveled hair. Officially, report it to the SEC, but they'll take months to investigate. By then, she'll be gone with the money. I finish his thought. My family's money. My cousin's children's futures. There might be another way. A new voice makes us both jump. Devin from legal stands in the doorway, holding a manila envelope. Sorry, couldn't help overhearing. I've been tracking similar cases. I've always liked Devin. He has kind eyes and that rare quality of actually listening when people talk. Now those eyes are serious as he spreads photos across the table. Your sister's been meeting with this man. He taps a surveillance photo. He specializes in creating new identities, helping people disappear. My coffee turns to acid in my stomach. When? Last meeting was yesterday, right after your family gathering. The pieces click together with sickening clarity. That's why she orchestrated my humiliation. She needed a distraction, something to keep the family focused on poor, pathetic Lindsay while she prepared her vanishing act. I have a friend at the Journal, Devin says carefully. If we take this to him now, today, it hits the morning edition, before she can run. That would destroy her, I say automatically, years of protective big sister instinct kicking in. She's already destroyed herself, Brennan counters. Question is, are you going to let her destroy everyone else too? My phone buzzes again. Talia. Come on, sis. Important family matter to discuss. Don't make me tell Mom you're being difficult again. The familiar manipulation hits differently now. All those years of subtle undermining, of using our parents' disappointment as a weapon. But this time, she's not just attacking me. She's preparing to rob our entire family blind. Give me your friend's number, I tell Devin. But first I need to have lunch with my sister. They both stare at me. Are you crazy? Brennan hisses. She'll know something's up. Exactly. I gather the evidence into my bag, hands steady despite my racing heart. She thinks I'm still the same pushover she can manipulate. Time to show her how wrong she is. Be careful, Devin warns. People who feel cornered. I know. I manage a smile that feels more like baring teeth. But she forgot something important. She taught me everything I know about wearing masks. I text back, lunch sounds perfect, sis. Can't wait to catch up. The response is immediate. Wonderful. LeBlanc at 1, my treat. Of course it's her treat. She's paying with stolen money after all. I stare at my reflection in the conference room window, practicing Talia's signature everything's perfect smile. Game on, little sister. Let's see who's really been paying attention all these years. LeBlanc's lunch crowd drips old money and corporate power. Exactly Talia's scene. I spot her at a corner table, wearing cream silk that probably costs more than my monthly salary. My Target blazer feels like a costume in comparison. Lindsay. She air kisses my cheek, her perfume expensive and suffocating. I ordered us champagne. We're celebrating. I slide into my seat, noting the exits, the security cameras, the witnesses. What are we celebrating? My promotion, of course. Her smile is radiant. I'm being made partner, the youngest in the firm's history. Partner. While her clients' accounts bleed dry, I take a slow sip of champagne, letting the bubbles mask my disgust. Congratulations. When's the announcement? Next week, though. She leans forward, voice dropping conspiratorially. I might not be around for it. Marcus and I are planning an extended vacation, very extended. My hand tightens on the stem of my glass. Where to? Oh, somewhere without extradition treaties. She laughs like it's a joke. Maybe it would be, if I hadn't seen those documents this morning. Actually, that's what I wanted to discuss. I have a business opportunity for you. The waiter arrives with our salads. Talia orders hers with dressing on the side, always in control, even of something this small. I need someone I can trust to handle some paperwork while I'm away, she continues once we're alone. Just signing a few things, maintaining some accounts. The compensation would be significant. Understanding hits like a punch to the gut. She's not just running, she's setting me up to take the fall. Why me? I keep my voice neutral, spearing a cherry tomato. Because you're family. Her hand reaches across the table to squeeze mine. And because I know how much you struggle with money, this could change your life. The worst part? 5 years ago, I might have fallen for it. Might have been so desperate for her approval that I'd have signed anything she put in front of me. Like you changed Aunt Marie's life? The words slip out before I can stop them. Or Cousin Derek's? Her smile doesn't waver, but something cold flickers in her eyes. I don't know what you mean. I think you do. I pull out my phone, showing her one of Brennan's spreadsheets. The numbers don't lie, Talia, even if you do. For a moment, her mask cracks. Fear, anger, and something like respect flash across her face. Then the perfect smile returns. Those numbers can be explained. But more importantly, she leans closer, voice honey-sweet. Think carefully about what exposing them would do to our family, to Mom and Dad's reputation, to your career. My career? Who do you think will hire an accountant who turned in her own sister, who betrayed family loyalty? Her laugh tinkles like breaking glass. Besides, who would believe you over me? The sister who's always been, what did Mom call it, oversensitive? Each word lands like a slap, but not for the reasons she thinks. I'm not hurt by the manipulation. I'm angry at myself for not seeing it sooner, for letting her weaponize my insecurities all these years. You're right, I say, standing. Who would believe me? Relief floods her face. I knew you'd understand. Now about those papers. But they might believe him. I nod toward the man entering the restaurant. Zuriel, Devon's journalist contact, right on schedule. He's very interested in understanding exactly how you made partner so young. Talia's face goes white. You didn't. Actually, I did. And that's not all I did. I drop a USB drive on the table. Copies of everything went to the SEC this morning. Turns out being the overlooked sister makes it really easy to gather evidence. No one notices the accountant in the corner, do they? She grabs my arm as I turn to leave, nails digging in. You can't do this. We're family. Funny. I gently remove her hand. That excuse doesn't work on me anymore. Mom and Dad will never forgive you. Maybe not. I meet her eyes, feeling strangely calm, but I forgive myself for every time I let you make me feel small, for every time I chose family loyalty over doing what's right. Zuriel is making his way toward our table, notebook in hand. Talia's perfect composure is crumbling by the second. One more thing, I say, dropping cash for my untouched salad. I'm not oversensitive. I'm just finally done pretending not to see who you really are. I walk out of LeBlanc into bright sunshine, leaving my sister to face the consequences of her actions. My phone is already buzzing with messages. No doubt the family grapevine spreading the news. Let them talk. I'm done being the punchline of their jokes. Time to write my own story. The first headline breaks at 3 p.m. Rising finance star implicated in multi-million-dollar fraud. By 4 p.m., my phone has 37 missed calls. By 5 p.m., I'm sitting in my apartment watching my sister's perfect life unravel on live TV. A knock at my door makes me jump. Lindsay, it's Jaden. Please open up. I consider pretending I'm not home, but his voice carries that same raw edge I remember from childhood fights, when he was the only one who'd stand up for me. He looks exhausted when I open the door, his usually immaculate suit wrinkled. You could have warned me. Would you have believed me? Yes. His immediate response surprises us both. I've never trusted Talia. Not since we were kids, and she blamed you for breaking Grandma's vase. I let him in, watching as he takes in my apartment, the stack of evidence files, the half-empty wine glass, the news playing silently on my laptop. They're saying she's already gone, he says quietly. Private jet to somewhere without extradition. She won't get far. I pull up an email from Devon. The feds froze her accounts an hour ago. That's not what I came to talk about. Jaden sits heavily on my couch. Your parents are destroying themselves. Your mom. I've never seen her like this. The guilt I've been suppressing all day rises like bile. How bad? She collapsed when the reporter showed up. Your dad's with her at the hospital. Stress-induced panic attack. He meets my eyes. They're asking for you. To yell at me, disown me, tell me I've ruined the family name? To understand why their daughter didn't come to them first, The laugh that escapes me sounds bitter even to my own ears. When have they ever listened to me? Really listened, not just waited for their chance to tell me how I'm doing everything wrong? Maybe they're ready to listen now. My phone buzzes. Another news alert. They've found evidence linking Talia to 3 more fraudulent schemes. The amount stolen has doubled. My stomach churns as I read familiar names among the victims. Oh God. I sink onto the couch beside Jaden. Your startup money, I'm so sorry. Don't. He touches my hand gently. You didn't steal it. You tried to save it. But I waited too long. I knew something was wrong for weeks, but I kept doubting myself, thinking maybe I was just jealous like they always said. You exposed the truth. That's what matters. My laptop pings with an incoming email from Talia's personal account, sent from an unknown location. My hands shake as I open it. Congratulations, sis. You finally grew a spine. But ask yourself, was it worth it? Mom's in the hospital, Dad's reputation is ruined, and our whole family is being torn apart. All because you couldn't handle being the disappointing daughter. Hope you're proud of yourself. Love, T. Jaden reads over my shoulder, his jaw tightening. Don't let her manipulate you. Not again. But what if she's right? What if I did this out of jealousy or revenge? Does it matter? He turns my chair to face him. The money she stole was real. The lives she ruined were real. Your motives don't change that. Another ping, this time from an unknown number. A video attachment. I click play before I can stop myself. It's security footage from LeBlanc. I watch myself confront Talia, but from this angle I can see something I missed in the moment. As I walk away, her mask completely shatters. For just a second, raw fear and something like regret cross her face. Then she pulls out her phone and makes a call, hands trembling. That was right before she tried to run. Jaden says softly, You did that. You made her face reality, maybe for the first time in her life. My doorbell rings before I can respond. Through the peephole, I see my father standing there, looking older than I've ever seen him. Lindsay, his voice cracks. Please, your mother's asking for you. Jaden squeezes my shoulder. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. I look at the paused video, at my sister's moment of truth. Then at the door, behind which waits my chance to either heal or permanently break my family. Okay, I whisper, reaching for the handle. Let's see if they're really ready to listen. Because that's the thing about truth. Once it starts spilling out, you can't choose which parts people hear. You can only hope they're strong enough to handle all of it. The hospital corridor stretches endlessly, my heels clicking against sterile tiles. My father walks slightly ahead, shoulders hunched like he's carrying physical weight. We haven't spoken since leaving my apartment. What is there to say after decades of silence? Room 415. My mother looks small in the hospital bed, her perfect makeup finally stripped away. The machine's steady beeping feels like an accusation. Lindsay, her voice is hoarse. Come to see what you've done? I almost turn around, but Jaden's hand on my back keeps me moving forward. I came because you asked for me. Asked for you? She laughs weakly. I asked for my daughter, not whatever you've become. I'm still your daughter. That's why I had to stop her. Stop her, my father finally speaks. You destroyed her. The police were at our house, Lindsay. Reporters. Our friends won't even take our calls. Because of what Talia did, not me. You could have handled it privately. My mother's fingers twist her blanket. Within the family. Instead, you chose to humiliate us all. Privately? The word tastes bitter. Like how you privately mocked my career, or privately set me up as the family joke. We were trying to protect you. My father's outburst startles us all. You were always so sensitive, so eager to please. Talia was stronger. Stronger? I pull out my phone, bringing up the evidence files. Look at these numbers. Really look. That's Aunt Marie's retirement fund. Empty. Derek's kids' college savings. Gone. Is that strength? They stare at the screen, reality finally cracking their denial. She said she was investing it. My mother's voice shrinks. She promised returns. She lied. She's been lying for years. And you let her because it was easier than admitting your perfect daughter was a fraud. The machines beep in the silence that follows. Outside, a nurse pushes a cart past, wheels squeaking. "Did you know," I say quietly, "that she tried to set me up to take the fall? She invited me to lunch today to trick me into signing documents that would have made me legally responsible." My mother closes her eyes. My father sits heavily in the visitor's chair. "We didn't," he starts. "No," I finish. "Or didn't want to know." My phone buzzes. Devin calling. I step into the hallway to answer. "They found her." His voice is urgent. "Talia, she's holed up at some luxury resort upstate. FBI's moving in tonight." My heart stutters. She'll run again. Not if someone she trusts convinces her to surrender first. Understanding hits. "No, I can't." "Lindsay, listen. If she runs now, that money's gone forever. But if she turns herself in, makes a deal, she won't listen to me. I'm the enemy now. You're her sister." His voice softens. "And you're the only one she knows. She can't manipulate anymore." I look back through the doorway. My parents huddle together, looking lost and old and human, all their illusions shattered in a single day. "Text me the address," I hear myself say. Back in the room, my mother reaches for my hand. I let her take it, feeling calluses beneath her expensive manicure. "Where are you going?" she asks. "To finish this, the right way." "Lindsay," my father stands. "Whatever she did, she's still your sister." "I know." I squeeze my mother's hand once before letting go. That's why I have to try one last time to save her. From herself, if nothing else. Jaden appears in the doorway. "I'm driving." "No." I straighten my blazer, check my phone's battery. I need to do this alone. "Then I'll wait here." He looks at my parents. "We all will." My mother's voice stops me at the door. "Lindsay, I'm sorry for not seeing you. It's not enough. Not yet. But it's a start." "I know, Mom." I manage a small smile. "Maybe when this is over, we can all try seeing each other a little more clearly." The hospital corridor doesn't seem quite so long on the way out. My phone guides me upstate, where my sister waits with her stolen millions and broken dreams. One last confrontation. One last chance to choose between family loyalty and doing what's right. This time, maybe I can do both. The Lake Grove Resort looms against the darkening sky, all glass and modern angles. My rental car's GPS shows I beat the FBI by 30 minutes. Enough time for one last conversation between sisters. The front desk clerk barely glances at me. I've worn my best Talia impression like armor, all confident smile and entitled attitude. "Room 842, your sister's expecting you." Of course she is. She's always been 3 steps ahead. The elevator rises smoothly, carrying me toward what feels like destiny. In my pocket, my phone vibrates with updates from Devin about FBI positions, contingency plans, worst-case scenarios. I silence it. This moment belongs to us alone. Talia opens the door before I knock. She's traded her designer clothes for yoga wear, but her makeup is still perfect. Always camera ready, even now. "I wondered when you'd show up." She steps aside, letting me enter the luxurious suite. "Drink? The minibar's excellent, though I suppose you're more concerned about who's paying for it." "You know why I'm here." To gloat, she pours herself something amber and expensive. "To see the mighty fallen? Or did they send you to talk me into surrendering?" "They don't know I'm here." That gets her attention. She studies me over her glass, really looks at me maybe for the first time in years. "Then why are you?" "Because under all this," I gesture at the wealth surrounding us. "You're still my little sister, the one who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms." "Don't." Her voice cracks slightly. "Don't pretend this is about protecting me. You destroyed everything I built." "You destroyed it yourself. I just exposed the truth." "The truth?" She laughs bitterly. "The truth is I was never going to be enough for them either. Not really. Every achievement had to be bigger, more impressive. Every success needed to shine brighter than the last. So you started faking the shine." "I made it real." Her glass slams down. "The money was real. The influence was real. Everyone won. Investors got their returns. The firm grew, our family's status, until it all fell apart." I step closer. "How long did you think you could keep juggling? Keep moving money around to hide the holes? long enough to disappear. She moves to the window, staring out at the gathering darkness. I had it all planned. New identity, new life. I was even going to send money back once I was safe. Make everyone whole again. You really believe that? I had to believe something. Her composure finally shatters. Do you know what it's like, being their perfect child? The golden daughter who can't make mistakes? Who has to succeed no matter what? Actually, I do. I touch her shoulder gently. I watched you carry that weight our whole lives. But Talia, you don't have to anymore. She shrugs off my hand. Easy for you to say. You're the hero now. The whistleblower who exposed the corrupt sister. I'm not a hero. I'm just finally being honest. About you, about them, about myself. I check my phone. 15 minutes left. And now I'm being honest about this. They're coming for you. Soon. Her spine stiffens. I can still run. To where? Another hotel? Another identity? Always looking over your shoulder, never trusting anyone? I move between her and the door. Or you can face this. Make it right. Show them. Show everyone who you really are under all the perfect masks. It's too late. It's not. Not if you choose to stop running. Sirens wail in the distance, growing closer. Talia's hands shake as she sets down her glass. They'll hate me, she whispers. Maybe, for a while, but we're family. Real family, not the perfect image we pretended to be. I hold out my hand. Let me help you through this. Like I should have helped you before it went this far. She stares at my offered hand. The sirens are very close now. Red and blue lights begin to flash against the windows. I'm scared, she admits, sounding young and vulnerable. I know. Me too. I keep my hand steady. But we can be scared together. For a moment, I think she'll run. I see the impulse flash across her face. Then slowly, she reaches out and takes my hand. Okay, she whispers. Okay. We stand together as footsteps thunder down the hall. In the last seconds before they breach the door, Talia squeezes my hand. I'm sorry, she says, for everything. I know, I squeeze back. Me too. The door bursts open, flooding the room with light and noise. But we don't let go. Not this time. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop pretending to be strong. Sometimes the truest victory is admitting you've lost. And sometimes, just sometimes, sisters can save each other by finally being real. The courtroom feels smaller than I expected. No dramatic high ceilings or imposing architecture, just a plain room where lives change forever. Talia sits at the defendant's table, wearing a simple black dress instead of her usual designer armor. She looks young, vulnerable, real. I'm not supposed to be here for the sentencing. Family members usually wait outside. But when Talia asked me to stay, her lawyer didn't object. Maybe he saw something in our matching stubborn chins, our mirrored way of squaring our shoulders against bad news. The judge shuffles papers, peers over reading glasses. Before pronouncing sentence, does the defendant wish to make a statement? Talia stands. Her hands shake slightly as she unfolds a paper, then stops. Puts it down, looks directly at the victim's section where our family sits. I prepared a speech, she says, about remorse and redemption and making amends. But that would be another performance, wouldn't it? Another perfect role to play. She takes a deep breath. The truth is uglier. I stole from people who trusted me because I was terrified of being ordinary, of disappointing everyone who expected miracles. I hurt people I love because I couldn't admit I was drowning in those expectations. Our mother makes a small sound. I resist the urge to turn around. I can't undo what I did, Talia continues, but I can stop pretending. Stop hiding behind fake success and start doing the hard work of being real. Even if real means being flawed, being wrong, being... Her voice cracks slightly. Being someone who needs help sometimes. The judge nods slowly, pronounces the sentence, 8 years, possibility of parole in 5 with restitution. Less than expected, more than hoped. I watch my sister absorb the news without flinching. Outside, autumn's sun bathes the courthouse steps in golden light. Our parents hover uncertainly until Talia waves them over. Their hug is awkward but genuine. I'll visit, our mother promises, every week. Maybe. Talia glances at me. Maybe we can all visit, together? I'd like that, I say, surprising myself by meaning it. The bailiffs appear to take her away, but before they can, Talia pulls me aside. There's something you need to know, she whispers. Check the hidden folder on my laptop. Password is Thunder Sisters. Remember from when we were kids? There's proof about Marcus. He wasn't just my partner in the firm. My breath catches. He was behind it all? Not all, but enough that he shouldn't get away clean while I take the fall. She smiles grimly. Consider it my last gift as the family overachiever. The bailiffs step closer. Talia straightens her shoulders. Take care of them, she says. And yourself. Especially yourself. I watch them lead her away. This stranger who's somehow both my sister and not my sister anymore. My phone buzzes. Devin, probably with news about the Marcus investigation. But that can wait. Coffee? I ask my parents. I know a place nearby. The cafe is small, nothing like my mother's usual spots. But she doesn't comment on the mismatched mugs or the barista's tattoos. Instead, she asks about my work. Actually asks, not just waits to criticize. I'm proud of you, my father says suddenly, for doing the right thing, even when it hurt. Even when it hurt us, my mother adds quietly. I haven't been fair to you, either of you. No, I agree. But maybe we can all learn to do better. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Jaden. Heard about the sentence, you okay? I look at my parents, really look at them. See the gray in my father's hair, the worry lines around my mother's eyes. See them seeing me. Maybe for the first time. Yes, I text back. I think I am. Because here's the truth about family. Sometimes love means letting the perfect facade crack. Sometimes strength means admitting weakness. And sometimes the biggest joke is thinking we had to pretend to be flawless in the first place. I take another sip of coffee, letting the bitter warmth ground me in this moment. Tomorrow I'll check Talia's laptop, start unraveling Marcus's web, face whatever new challenges come. But right now, in this imperfect cafe with my imperfect family, I'm exactly where I need to be. No masks, no pretense. Just us. Finally learning to see each other clearly. And maybe that's the best promotion of all.
The sound of laughter and clinking champagne glasses fills my sister's sunlit living room as I rest my hand on my swollen belly, soaking in what should be the happiest day of my life. Pink and blue balloons dance against the ceiling while my best friend Paige arranges pristine white roses in a crystal vase, shooting me one of her trademark winks. Only you would have flowers color-coordinated with your dress at your own baby shower, she teases. I smooth the fabric of my cream-colored maternity dress, the one Beau said made me look radiant last week. What can I say? Some of us like everything just so. The front door opens and my heart does that familiar flutter when my husband walks in. Even after 3 years of marriage, Beau still takes my breath away, all 6 feet of corporate swagger in his tailored suit. But something's off in his expression, a tightness around his eyes I've never seen before. Jillian. His voice carries across the room, silencing conversations mid-sentence. We need to talk. The way he says my name sends ice through my veins. Behind him, a woman I've never seen before steps into view. She's wearing a fitted red dress that hugs every curve, and her hand rests possessively on Beau's arm. My sister Serenity appears at my side, her fingers digging into my shoulder. What's going on? The room has gone deadly quiet. I can hear my own heartbeat thundering in my ears as Beau walks toward me, his expensive shoes clicking against the hardwood. The woman in red follows, her stilettos leaving tiny divots in my sister's pristine floors. I'm sorry it has to be this way, Beau says, but his voice holds no warmth. Ruby and I have been seeing each other for 8 months. She's pregnant too. 12 weeks. The words hit me like physical blows. My vision blurs at the edges as I struggle to process what he's saying. The baby inside me kicks, as if sensing my distress. You're lying, I whisper, but even as the words leave my mouth, I see the truth written across his face. All those late nights at the office, the mysterious texts he'd shield from view, the sudden business trips. I've already moved my things out. he continues, pulling an envelope from his jacket. These are divorce papers. My lawyer will be in touch about custody arrangements once the babies are born. The envelope lands in my lap like a bomb. Around me, guests are frozen in various states of shock. My mother's hand pressed against her mouth, Paige's face flushed with fury, Serenity trembling beside me. Ruby, this woman wearing my husband's ring on her finger, has the audacity to smile. We thought it was best to be honest, given the circumstances. No point dragging things out. My fingers close around the envelope, crumpling its crisp edges. Honest? My voice comes out stronger than I expect. You call ambushing me at my baby shower honest? It's better this way, Bo says flatly. Clean break, no messy scenes. A laugh bubbles up from my chest, sharp and bitter as broken glass. No messy scenes? You're destroying my life in front of everyone I love, and you're worried about scenes? He has the grace to look uncomfortable, but Ruby just tosses her perfectly styled hair. Come on, baby. We've said what we came to say. Baby, the pet name I whispered against his skin countless nights. The endearment he'd murmur while stroking my growing belly. All of it. Lies. Wait. I struggle to stand, my 7 months pregnant body betraying me. Serenity steadies me as I face the man I thought would grow old with me. Why like this? Why here? Bo's mask slips for just a moment, revealing something ugly underneath. Because you always have to have everything perfect, don't you, Jillian? Your perfect house, your perfect marriage, your perfect little life. I wanted you to see that nothing's perfect. Not anymore. He turns and walks out, Ruby clinging to his arm like a trophy. The door closes behind them with a quiet click that echoes through the silent room. I stand there, divorce papers crushed in my fist, as my carefully constructed world crumbles around me. Someone sobs. Maybe my mother, maybe me. I can't tell anymore. Paige appears in front of me, her face fierce with protective rage. I'll kill him. I swear to God, but I'm not listening. My eyes are fixed on a detail I noticed in those few seconds when Bo's mask slipped. Something in the way he smiled when he delivered that final blow. This wasn't just about leaving me for another woman. This was punishment. And as my baby kicks again, strong and insistent, I make a silent promise to both of us. If Bo wants to play games, he's about to learn that perfect little Jillian knows how to play dirty too. The silence in our bedroom, my bedroom now, feels like another presence. I've been staring at the ceiling for hours, watching shadows crawl across the walls as dawn approaches. My hand traces absent patterns over my belly while the other clutches my phone, thumb hovering over Bo's contact photo. The one where he's laughing at something I said. Love shining in his eyes. Was any of it real? A soft knock breaks my trance. Jilly? Serenity's voice carries through the door. I brought breakfast. I'm not hungry. The words come out raspy from crying. She enters anyway, because that's what sisters do. The smell of coffee, decaf, because she remembers everything, fills the room as she sets a tray on the nightstand. You need to eat. She perches on the edge of the bed. The baby needs you to eat. The baby. My hand presses harder against my stomach. I can't keep anything down. Try. She hands me a piece of dry toast. And then we need to talk about the papers Bo left. Just hearing his name makes bile rise in my throat. I force myself to take a bite anyway, the toast turning to ash in my mouth. There's nothing to talk about. He's made his choice. Serenity's eyes narrow. This isn't about choices anymore. This is about protecting yourself and your child. She pulls out her tablet. I've been doing some digging. What do you mean? Remember last month when you mentioned Bo was acting weird about the joint account? I had a feeling. She taps the screen a few times, then turns it toward me. Look at the transfer history. Numbers swim before my eyes, but then patterns emerge. Large sums moving between accounts I've never seen before, all in the weeks leading up to yesterday. He's been moving money, I whisper. But why would he? My phone buzzes, cutting me off. A text from an unknown number. Check the safe in his office. Code is Ruby's birthday. Signed to Yuan-7. You're not the only one he's screwing over. Who's that? Serenity leans over. I don't know. I'm already pushing myself up, ignoring the wave of dizziness. But I need to get to that safe before Bo does. You can barely stand. Help me or don't, but I'm going. 20 minutes later, we're in Bo's home office. Everything looks exactly as it did 2 days ago when he kissed me goodbye. The same expensive leather chair, the same pretentious modern art he loves. But now it all feels tainted. My hands shake as I input the code. 0317. The safe clicks open. That bastard. Serenity breathes. Inside are stacks of documents, bank statements, contracts, USB drives. But what catches my eye is a folder labeled More Family Trust. His father's company, I murmur, flipping through pages. These are transfer records, stock certificates. My breath catches. Oh my God. What? He's been embezzling from his own family's company. Millions. I keep reading, horror mounting. And he set it up to look like I'm involved. Serenity grabs the papers. How? My signature. He must have forged it. The room spins as implications hit me. That's why he did it at the baby shower. He wanted witnesses to our falling out. He's setting me up to take the fall. We need a lawyer, now. But I'm not listening. Another document has caught my eye. A prenuptial agreement I never signed. Only this version bears my signature, dated 3 years ago. He's been planning this for years, I whisper. Everything, the marriage, the baby, it was all just cover for his scheme. Fury rises in my chest, hot and clarifying. The fog of grief burns away, replaced by something harder. Colder. My phone buzzes again. Same unknown number. Board meeting next Thursday. Stephen Moore presents quarterly findings. Bo plans to blame everything on you. TikTok. I look up at Serenity, and something in my expression makes her step back. Jilly? Call Paige, I say, gathering the documents. Tell her to bring every scrap of information she can find about Ruby, and get me Clay's private number. Clay? Bo's business partner? Why? I close the safe, straightening my spine. Because Bo's not the only one who can play the long game. He wants to destroy me? Fine. But I'm taking everything he loves down with me. What are you going to do? I rest my hand on my belly, feeling my child move beneath my palm. When I speak, my voice is steel. I'm going to show him exactly what happens when you back a pregnant woman into a corner. The baby kicks, strong and sure. Like a sign. Like permission. Game on, darling husband. Game on. Rain pelts the windows of the coffee shop as I watch Clay approach through the glass. He spots me immediately. Not hard when you're the only heavily pregnant woman in the place, but hesitates at the door. I can almost see him weighing his options. Finally, he slides into the booth across from me, water dripping from his coat. Jillian, this is unexpected. Is it? I push a manila envelope across the table. Because I think you've been expecting this conversation for a while. His fingers tap an anxious rhythm on the tabletop. I can't discuss company business without Bo's permission? I cut in. That's funny, because these documents suggest you've been doing quite a bit without Bo's permission. Color drains from his face as he opens the envelope. I sip my tea, letting him process what he's seeing. 3 years of watching Bo negotiate taught me the power of silence. Where did you get these? His voice barely carries over the rain. Same place I got proof that you've been skimming from the Moore family account since before Bo joined the firm. I lean forward. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Clay's expression hardens. Is this blackmail? This is a warning. I rest my hand on my belly, feeling my child's reassuring movements. Bo's going to try to pin everything on me at next week's board meeting. When he does, these documents go public. You destroy yourself too. I'm already destroyed. The words come out sharper than intended. I take a breath, steady myself. but I can prove my signatures were forged. Can you prove the same about yours? A crack of thunder punctuates my question. Clay stares at his hands, and I see the moment his resolve breaks. He wasn't supposed to involve you. He whispers. The original plan? It was just supposed to be about the trust fund. Tell me, Stephen, Beau's father, he's been threatening to write Beau out of his will. Something about him not being worthy of the Moore legacy. Clay's laugh is bitter. Beau wanted revenge. And the money, of course. Always the money. So he married me for legitimacy, I say, the pieces clicking into place. The perfect wife, the perfect life, the perfect cover. Clay confirms. But then you got pregnant and everything changed. He started taking bigger risks, moving more money. Said he needed to secure his future now that there was an heir involved. My tea turns sour in my stomach. And Ruby? She works in accounting. Started helping him hide the transfers 6 months ago. He hesitates. Her pregnancy wasn't planned. It scared him. Made him accelerate everything. Including getting rid of me. Clay meets my eyes for the first time. He's going to destroy you, Jillian. He's got everything set up. The fake documents, the witness statements, even recordings of phone calls that never happened. The board will believe him. Unless someone with inside knowledge speaks up. He glances at the envelope. Someone who can prove where the money really went. I let his words hang between us, heavy with implication. Outside, the storm intensifies. I need time to think, he says finally. You have until Tuesday. I slide a burner phone across the table. My number's programmed in. If I don't hear from you by then, I'll assume you're choosing Beau's side. Standing takes more effort than it should. My back aches, and exhaustion pulls at every muscle. Clay catches my arm as I sway slightly. You should be resting, he says, concern flickering across his face. In your condition. My condition is exactly why I can't rest. I pull away gently. I'm fighting for 2 now. I'm almost to the door when he calls out. Jillian, there's something else you should know. About Ruby. My hand freezes on the door handle. What about her? She's not really pregnant. It's part of their plan. She'll fake a miscarriage next month. They thought it would help her case when she claims part of your settlement. The rain suddenly sounds very far away. All I can hear is my own heartbeat, steady and strong like my baby's. Thank you for telling me, I say without turning around. Outside, the storm has turned the city gray and blurry, like an old photograph. I stand under the awning, one hand pressed against my stomach, the other clutching my phone. My fingers move automatically, typing a message to the unknown number that started all this. Need everything you have on Ruby, especially medical records. The response comes instantly. Already on it. But there's more. Stephen knows something's wrong. He's hired private investigators. I smile as another crack of thunder splits the sky. Perfect. Time to add another player to the game. The city glitters below my penthouse windows, a constellation of lights I used to find beautiful. Now they just remind me of all the lies wrapped in pretty packages. I press my forehead against the cool glass, watching my breath fog the surface. You need to see this. Paige's voice breaks through my thoughts. She's sprawled across my couch, laptop balanced on her knees, surrounded by papers like a war room command center. I lower myself carefully beside her, my back protesting. What did you find? Ruby's medical records. She turns the screen toward me. Or should I say, Rebecca's medical records. My eyes scan the document, catching on details. She changed her name 3 years ago, right after her last interesting career choice. Paige pulls up another window. Turns out Ruby used to be quite the con artist. Small-time stuff mostly. Insurance fraud, identity theft. But here's where it gets good. A news article appears featuring a younger version of Ruby with different hair but the same predatory smile. The headline reads, Woman accused of pregnancy scam and divorce settlement. She's done this before, I whisper. 3 times. Paige's fingers fly across the keyboard. Always the same pattern. Affair with a wealthy married man, fake pregnancy, dramatic miscarriage after securing a settlement. My phone buzzes. Clay's burner number. We need to talk. Now. It's worse than we thought. 20 minutes later, I'm back at the same coffee shop, but this time Clay isn't alone. A woman sits beside him, middle-aged, elegant, with Stephen's sharp eyes. Jillian. Stephen's wife, Margaret, reaches for my hand. We've been waiting for you to figure it out. I sink into the booth, heart pounding. Figure what out? That Beau's not working alone. Clay glances nervously at the door. Stephen's been orchestrating everything from the beginning. Margaret's laugh is cold. My husband thinks he's so clever. 30 years I've watched him manipulate people, destroy lives. But this? She shakes her head. Using his own son's greed against him? That's new. I don't understand. Stephen knew about Beau's embezzling months ago, Clay explains. Instead of stopping it, he encouraged it. Fed him information, helped him set up accounts. All while building a case against him. And me, I add quietly. You were supposed to be collateral damage. Margaret's voice softens. Just another casualty in Stephen's grand plan to prove Beau unworthy of the Moore legacy. My baby kicks hard, making me wince. Margaret notices. That's why I couldn't stay quiet anymore. She reaches into her bag, pulls out a USB drive. Everything's here. Every transaction, every phone call, every meeting. Stephen's been recording everything. Why are you helping me? Her eyes fix on my stomach. Because 30 years ago, I was you. Pregnant, betrayed, caught in Stephen's games. I chose to stay silent. Her fingers twist her wedding ring. I won't watch another woman's life be destroyed by more men. Clay's phone chimes. His face goes pale. Beau's called an emergency board meeting tomorrow morning. He knows. The realization hits like ice water. Someone tipped him off. We need to move fast. Margaret stands. I can get you into Stephen's office tonight. The real evidence is there. Everything you need to protect yourself. It's too risky, Clay protests. If you're caught, I won't be. I push myself up, one hand on my back. Because you're going to help create a distraction. Later, as I lay in bed trying to sleep, Paige's voice comes through the darkness. She insisted on staying over, camping out on my couch like we're teenagers again. Are you sure about this? She asks. Breaking into Stephen's office, it's not just unethical, it's illegal. I stare at the ceiling, remembering Margaret's eyes when she talked about staying silent. Remembering Ruby's smirk at my baby shower. Remembering Beau's cold smile as he destroyed my world. They made it illegal, I say finally. When they decided to use the law as a weapon. When they thought they could sacrifice my life, my baby's future, for their games. My hand rests on my belly, feeling the strong kicks that remind me what I'm fighting for. Sometimes justice doesn't look like what we expect. Just be careful, Paige whispers. Not just of them, of yourself. Revenge changes people. I think of the evidence waiting in Stephen's office, of the choices I'll have to make tomorrow, of the line between justice and vengeance and how easy it is to blur. I'm already changed, I tell the darkness. The question is, what am I changing into? My phone lights up with a final message from Margaret. Office alarm disabled at midnight. Don't make me regret this. No turning back now. Tomorrow I find out what I'm really capable of. The Moore building looms over me like a steel and glass mountain, its top floors lost in low-hanging clouds. My heart pounds as I swipe Margaret's security card, willing my hands not to shake. The lobby camera's red light blinks steadily. Clay's handling that, feeding looped footage from last week. Security rounds in 20 minutes. Margaret's voice crackles through my earpiece. Elevator to 47. Hurry. The elevator rises silently, each floor bringing me closer to the point of no return. I catch my reflection in the polished doors. A woman I barely recognize, dressed in black, face pale but determined. My baby shifts restlessly, as if sensing my tension. I know, little one, I whisper. Mommy's scared too. The elevator dings. Stephen's corner office suite stretches before me, Manhattan's lights twinkling beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. I'm halfway to his private office when a lamp clicks on. I wondered if you'd come. Stephen sits in his leather chair, watching me with those calculating eyes. My blood turns to ice. How did you know? He gestures to a chair. Please sit. In your condition, you shouldn't be standing. My earpiece crackles. Jillian, what's happening? Margaret's voice is tight with worry. I sink into the chair, mind racing. Stephen reaches over and gently removes my earpiece, setting it on his desk. Margaret means well, he says, but she never understood the bigger picture. And what picture is that? My voice comes out steadier than I feel. The one where you destroy your son and daughter-in-law for sport? He laughs, but there's no warmth in it. You think this is about destruction? This is about legacy, about separating the worthy from the weak. By setting up your own son? By testing him. Stephen leans forward. And you? Tell me, what were you hoping to find tonight? The truth. But whose truth? He opens a drawer, removes a familiar USB drive. Margaret's? Clay's? Or perhaps... He pulls out another drive. The actual records of every illegal transaction Beau's made since joining the company? My hands curl into fists. You've been watching me. Of course. And I must say you've exceeded expectations. The way you turned Clay, brought Margaret to your side. Impressive. His smile reminds me of a shark. You're everything Beau isn't. Strategic, patient, willing to sacrifice for the long game. What are you saying? I'm saying you have a choice. He places both drives on the desk. One contains everything you need to destroy Beau completely. The other has proof of his crimes but protects the company and your child's inheritance. Understanding dawns. This was never about Beau. This was about finding someone worthy of running your company. The more legacy needs strength, conviction. His eyes drop to my stomach. And an air raised by someone who understands power. You want me to take over? Want? No, I'm offering you the chance to earn it. He slides the drives toward me. Choose wisely. My baby kicks hard, making me gasp. Stephen's expression softens fractionally. You have your child to think about now. Their future. Their security. I stare at the drives, remembering Beau's cruel smile at the baby shower. Remembering Margaret's haunted eyes. 30 years of silence. You're right, I say quietly. I do have my child to think about. I stand, bracing myself against the desk. And that's exactly why I can't become you. Before he can react, I snatch both drives and step back. My baby deserves better than a legacy built on manipulation and fear. Don't be foolish. His voice hardens. You're throwing away everything. No. I straighten my spine. I'm choosing something better. Tomorrow at the board meeting, everything comes out. All of it. Your games, Beau's crimes, Ruby's cons. Let the chips fall where they may. They'll destroy you. Maybe. I move toward the door. But my child will know their mother chose truth over power. Love over legacy. Security's already on their way up. I smile, feeling strangely calm. No, they're not. Because in about 30 seconds, every computer in this building is going to start downloading some very interesting files. Paige says hello, by the way. She's quite good with systems. His face contorts. You exceeded expectations? I rest my hand on my belly. Thank you for the lesson in legacy, Stephen. I'll be sure to teach my child a better one. The elevator doors close on his thunderous expression. My phone buzzes. Paige confirming the files are spreading through the company's servers. By morning, everyone will know everything. It's done, I whisper to my baby. No more secrets, no more games. The elevator descends, and with each floor, I feel lighter. Tomorrow will bring chaos, but for the first time since the baby shower, I'm not afraid. I've chosen my legacy. Now it's time to build it. Morning sunlight streams through my bedroom windows as I button my blazer, trying to find an angle where I look more confident than terrified. The board meeting starts in 2 hours and my hands won't stop shaking. My phone lights up with Paige's text. Turn on the news, now. The TV flickers to life and there's Beau standing outside the Moore building. Ruby clutches his arm, tears streaming down her perfectly made-up face, devastated to announce that due to complications, we've lost the baby. She sobs. And to discover that my private medical information was stolen and distributed by someone I trusted. The camera pans to Beau's grief-stricken expression. My wife, my ex-wife, has been unstable since learning about the divorce. But this violation of privacy, this targeted harassment of Ruby during such a tragic time. My coffee mug shatters against the wall before I realize I've thrown it. That manipulative bastard. Serenity spits from my doorway. He's playing the sympathy card. He's neutralizing our evidence about Ruby's fake pregnancy. I say, my voice hollow, making me look unhinged before I can even present my case. My phone buzzes again. Clay. Emergency. Meet me at the cafe. Now. 20 minutes later, I slide into our usual booth. Clay's face is ashen. They got to Margaret. He says without preamble. Stephen threatened to expose her own secrets. She's recanting everything. The room spins slightly. What secrets? Apparently she had an affair years ago. The daughter Stephen thinks is his... Clay rubs his face. She's choosing to protect her family. I'm sorry. So we've lost Margaret's testimony. The pregnancy evidence is worthless, and half the board probably thinks I'm having a mental breakdown. I press my hands against my belly, seeking comfort in my baby's movements. What else can go wrong? The cafe door chimes. Ruby walks in, alone. Hello, Jillian. She slides into the booth next to Clay, who goes rigid. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Really? Not even about this? She places a phone on the table. The screen shows a video of me in Stephen's office last night. Amazing what security cameras catch, isn't it? My throat goes dry. What do you want? To make a deal. She leans forward. That video goes public in 1 hour unless you agree to sign a confession. Take responsibility for the embezzlement, drop all claims to company assets, and disappear. Why would I do that? Because if you don't, Beau has evidence suggesting you've been stealing money to fund a drug habit. Very concerning for an expectant mother. Her smile is venomous. Child Services takes those claims very seriously. The baby kicks hard, as if protesting. Clay starts to speak, but I silence him with a look. You really are perfect for each other, I tell Ruby, both so focused on the game that you miss the obvious. Which is? I pull out my phone, start a recording. Could you repeat that threat about Child Services? And maybe mention again how you'll fabricate drug evidence if I don't comply? Color drains from her face. You have been recording every conversation since the baby shower? Yes. I meet her eyes. Your move. She snatches her phone and storms out. Clay lets out a shaky breath. That was risky. No. I gather my things. That was necessary. She just confirmed they're desperate. What are you going to do? My phone buzzes with a text from the unknown number. Stephen's private server accessed. Found something you need to see. Meeting room B, 30 minutes. I'm going to do what they never expected, I tell Clay. I'm going to tell the truth. The whole truth. No games, no schemes, no manipulation. They'll fight dirty. Let them. I stand, squaring my shoulders. I'm done playing by their rules. In meeting room B, I find a thick folder waiting. Inside are documents that make my hands tremble. Not with fear this time, but with certainty. My phone buzzes one last time. Beau. Last chance. Walk away now or I'll destroy everything you have left. I think of our baby, growing strong despite everything. Think of the legacy of lies I'm breaking free from. Think of the truth waiting in that folder. No, I type back. You destroyed everything I had 2 weeks ago. Now I'm building something new. Something honest. See you at the board meeting. I rest my hand on my belly, feeling my child's steady movements. Ready to help mommy burn it all down, little one? The kick I feel is strong, decisive, like a battle drum. Time to end this, once and for all. The boardroom falls silent as I walk in, every eye tracking my movement. Bo sits at Stephen's right hand, Ruby beside him like a perfectly positioned chess piece. The morning sun through the windows casts their faces in harsh relief, highlighting the tension in their practiced smiles. My heels click against marble as I make my way to the podium. The folder in my hands weighs nothing and everything. Before we begin, Stephen stands, all paternal concern. Given recent events and Mrs. Moore's emotional state, perhaps we should... It's Ms. Wilcox now. I cut in, my voice steady. And I'm exactly where I need to be. I open the folder, laying out documents one by one. My hands don't shake anymore. 2 weeks ago, my husband served me divorce papers at my baby shower. It was cruel, calculated, and perfectly orchestrated. I meet Bo's eyes. It was also a smokescreen. Ruby shifts uncomfortably. Bo's jaw tightens. We're all busy people, so I'll be direct. Every person at this table has received evidence of extensive embezzlement from company accounts. Evidence suggesting my involvement. I pause, letting the tension build. That evidence was fabricated, but not by who you think. I slide the first document forward. A series of emails between Stephen and Bo spanning 3 years. This wasn't about a son stealing from his father. This was about a father using his son's greed to orchestrate a corporate coup. My voice carries to every corner. Every transaction, every false document, every manipulated record, all orchestrated by Stephen Moore. The board members murmur, reaching for copies of the emails. Stephen's face darkens. These could easily be falsified, he says smoothly. Unlike the evidence against me? I pull out my phone, press play. Stephen's voice fills the room. The Moore legacy needs strength. Conviction. Color drains from his face as the recording continues, laying bare his entire scheme. Bo stands abruptly, pointing at me. You can't seriously believe... Sit down, Bo. The command cracks like a whip. It's Margaret standing in the doorway. It's over. She walks to the center of the room, drops a stack of papers on the table. 30 years of records, every manipulation, every scheme, every destroyed career. I kept receipts. You promised. Stephen starts. I promised to stay silent about our daughter. Margaret cuts in. I said nothing about your business practices. Ruby tries to slip toward the door, but Paige blocks her path. Going somewhere? Maybe to delete those fake medical records? Too late. The boardroom erupts in chaos. Questions fly. Accusations mount. Through it all, I keep my eyes on Bo, watching his carefully constructed world crumble. Why? He asks finally, voice cracking. I gave you everything. No. I rest my hand on my belly, feeling our child move. You gave me a beautiful lie, but our baby deserves better than a legacy built on deception. The company will survive. I turn to the board. Every stolen penny has been traced. With Clay's help, we've already begun recovering funds. The Moore Group can be rebuilt, stronger and more ethical. Under whose leadership? Someone asks. Mine. Margaret's voice rings with authority. Unless anyone objects? The silence is deafening. Stephen seems to age decades before our eyes. Security is waiting outside. I tell him quietly. You have a choice. Leave quietly or be escorted out. Either way, the DA has everything they need. He stands slowly, straightening his tie one last time. You've destroyed decades of work. No, Margaret says. We've saved this company from what you turned it into. As security leads them out, Stephen, Bo, Ruby, I feel the weight of the past months lifting. My baby kicks, strong and insistent. I know, little one. I whisper. We did it. The boardroom empties gradually. Margaret squeezes my hand as she passes. Ready to help me rebuild? I smile, thinking of the future stretching before us. Actually, I have other plans. Later, standing at my office window watching the sunset, I feel Paige approach. "So what now?" she asks. "Going to be a corporate warrior mom after all?" "No." I turn to face her. "I'm starting my own consulting firm, helping other women navigate corporate warfare and toxic divorces, using what I've learned to make sure no one else goes through this alone." She grins. "Need a partner?" "Always." My phone buzzes, a final message from my unknown ally. "Well played. The world needs more mothers like you." I smile, watching the city lights flicker to life. My baby moves beneath my palm, and I think about legacy. Not the kind built in boardrooms, but the kind built on truth, strength, and the courage to stand up when the world tries to break you. "Ready for our next adventure?" I ask my belly. The kick I feel is answer enough. The hospital room is quiet except for the steady beeping of monitors and my daughter's soft breathing. She's perfect. 10 tiny fingers, 10 tiny toes, and a fierce grip that hasn't loosened since they placed her in my arms. "She looks like you," Serenity whispers from beside my bed. Same determined chin. I trace my finger along my daughter's cheek, marveling at her softness. Poor thing. "Have you decided on a name?" Before I can answer, there's a knock at the door. A woman enters, tall, elegant, with silver-streaked dark hair and familiar eyes that make my breath catch. "Hello, Jillian." She smiles tentatively. I hope I'm not intruding. "You're the one who sent the texts," I realize. "The anonymous tips." She nods, moving closer. "I'm Elizabeth, Stephen's first wife." Serenity straightens, protective. "Why are you here?" "Because 30 years ago, I made a different choice than Jillian." Elizabeth's eyes fix on my daughter. When I discovered Stephen's manipulation, his games, I ran. Left everything behind, including my chance to change things. She places a small package on my bedside table. "This arrived at my office this morning. I thought you should see it." Inside is a newspaper, today's edition. The headline reads, "Moore Group announces new direction. Margaret Moore implements sweeping ethics reforms." "Keep reading," Elizabeth urges. My eyes scan down. In related news, former CEO Stephen Moore and son Beau Moore have accepted plea deals in the ongoing fraud investigation. Ruby Joseph, identified as a key conspirator, faces additional charges. "Justice comes in many forms," Elizabeth says softly. "Sometimes it's loud and public. Sometimes it's quiet, like a baby girl born free from toxic legacies." "Why did you help me?" I ask. "Why now?" "Because 30 years ago, Margaret stayed to fight while I ran. We were both trying to protect our children, but she proved there was another way." She reaches for her purse. "I've spent decades building networks, helping women escape men like Stephen. When Margaret told me about you, I knew it was time to come out of the shadows." My daughter stirs, making tiny mewling sounds. Elizabeth's expression softens. "What will you name her?" I look down at my daughter's face, so new, yet so wise. "Truth." "Truth?" Serenity asks. "Truth Margaret Wilcox." I kiss my daughter's forehead. "Because that's what saved us, what will guide us." Elizabeth pulls out a business card. "When you're ready to start your consulting firm, call me. My network could use someone like you." Someone like me? Someone who knows that real power isn't in boardrooms or bank accounts. She touches Truth's tiny hand. It's in having the courage to stand up and say, "No more." After she leaves, Serenity helps me adjust Truth against my chest. "You know, when all this started, I was so worried about you. I remember. You thought revenge would change me. It did change you." She squeezes my hand. Just not how I expected. I think about the past months. The pain, the fury, the calculated moves and counter moves. But mostly I think about the moment I chose truth over power, freedom over revenge. "I learned something," I tell Serenity. The opposite of manipulation isn't surrender. It's honesty. The opposite of control isn't chaos. It's choice. Truth makes a small sound like she's agreeing. Her eyes open, startlingly clear and direct. "Hello, my fierce girl," I whisper. "Welcome to our story." My phone lights up with messages. Paige confirming our office lease, Margaret sharing board meeting details, Clay sending congratulations. Each one represents a thread in the new tapestry I'm weaving. But right now, in this quiet room, none of that matters. What matters is my daughter's heartbeat against my chest, steady and strong. What matters is the truth we fought for, the legacy we'll build together. I think of Beau, of Stephen, of all their careful plans and power plays. They never understood that real strength isn't in what you can take from others. It's in what you choose to give, what you choose to build. Truth grips my finger, and in her tiny grasp, I feel everything I've gained by letting go of revenge. Purpose, clarity, freedom. A future built on honesty instead of games. "Ready to change the world?" I ask my daughter. Her eyes meet mine, fearless and bright. Like truth itself, she doesn't need words to answer.